With over 15 years of experience in the launch business, Royal America delivers competitive pricing, durability, stability, and comfort in every launch they make. With tons of customizable options, it's no wonder that our launches are used by the best coaches in the world to coach the best rowers in the world. With boats in stock ready to ship, reach out to your local sales representative for a quote today.
Beaches and beyond.
The U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships from Grand River in the Grand Rapids, Michigan, underway already with our first final for this Friday, the second day of medal races here at the National Championships. Good afternoon to you. I'm Mark Purcell here with a member of the local organizing committee for these National Championships, Rob Shea, calling these races. And Rob, let's dive right in with the mixed 4 final in the E category.
All right, we're approaching the finish. In the lead in lane 5 is Riverside, followed by Chinook in lane 3. And in lane 4, we have Ann Arbor. In lane 2, Three Rivers. Then in lane 1, Don, followed by Western Reserve in lane 6.
Crossing the line and winning the first gold of the afternoon. What a showing here in the mixed 4s E final. We will have finals all the way through about 15 minutes before 8 tonight. We have a delay in the schedule due to fog earlier this morning on the Grand River, but glad to have you along now for the finals, starting the live stream just a little bit late on this Friday afternoon. Masters National Championship, the second largest number of entries at this year's National Championships, and so things are fast and furious. We're racing every 3 minutes here on the Grand River on this 1,000-meter course, and the next race already underway is the mixed double final in the C category, which has Beaver Creek Sculling Composite in lane 1. In lane 2 is Cincinnati. In lane 3, Greenwich. Atomic is in lane 4. In lane 5, a Lincoln Park Composite. And in lane 6, another boat from Greenwich. And as they pass the halfway mark, very tight up front with the 2 Greenwich boats as well as the boat from Atomic. We'll benefit today from some views from above thanks to our little drone friend who is high in the air above the Grand River. A beautiful way to take in this sport and to see the beauty of this competition. And we can see the competition unfolding right here as you are watching that race between the boat from Greenwich and the one from Atomic there at the bottom of the screen. What you might not be able to see is the other boat from Greenwich there. Well, that boat from Greenwich racing, but in the meantime, out in front, it's the other boat from Greenwich out in lane 5.
6.
Help me
lane
with
6.
my counting here.
In lane 6, we've got DeLuca and Coffer from Greenwich.
And then it's a battle for second between the other Greenwich boat and the one from Atomic. Shea and Nealon from Atomic, and Woody and Mills from Greenwich there battling for that second spot right now. Hatfield and Pack from Cincinnati, followed by the Beaver Creek Sculling Composite here in this final for the mixed doubles C category.
We're seeing a real battle here for second as the lane 6 Greenwich boat approaches the finish. And in lane 4, it's going to be Atomic in second, followed by Greenwich in lane 3 to take the bronze.
Lincoln Park Composite in lane 5 in fourth. And the Beaver Creek Sculling Composite trying to chase down the Cincinnati boat, but Cincinnati, then Beaver Creek, crossing in that order.
So you mentioned the start of the day we had a little bit of fog, but that burned off pretty quickly. We've had a little bit of the winds pick up. We're looking at about an 8 to 10 mile an hour wind that's going to peak middle of the afternoon here. We're at about 80 degrees, so very nice conditions aside from a little bit of wind, which is heading south by southwest and kind of blowing upstream against the competitors.
Rowing a little bit harder to get that gold medal today here in these finals with that little bit of a headwind rolling. There's a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm, but we're keeping our fingers crossed and hoping that all the finals will be able to make it through the schedule for the rest of the afternoon. We have the mixed double final in the double A category rolling right now. The Bay Verde in lane 1, Greater Columbus in lane 2, Everett Association lane 3, Chicago lane 4, Coaches Association lane 5, and Genesee in lane 6. And as they come up to the 750 meter mark, it is that Genesee boat that's in the lead at this moment, closely followed by the Coaches Association in lane 5, who's trying to be chased down by Greater Columbus in lane 2, with that boat from Everett Association in lane 3 hot on their heels. So a battle shaping up for the silver and bronze here in the mixed double A file. LeBay Verde in lane 1, trailing the field right now. As quick as we can call them, those medals are going flying across the finish line here, Rob.
Looking at the lane 6 Genesee boat, followed by Coaches Association in 5.
And that's how close it is as we see overhead. Just about 2/3 of a boat length behind as they cross the line. And in that battle between Everett and Greater Columbus, Everett able to push ahead and capture the bronze in the mixed double A final. The youngest of the age categories, these categories we are naming for those of you watching the live stream here on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel. Double A is 21 to 26 years old, the younger of the category, a new category. It had just started at A, which was 27 to 35, but due to the growing popularity of rowing and the growing attention on the sport, they added that younger category, the Double A category, to include more entries here in these competitions, especially here at the national level with the U.S. Rowing Masters National Championship underway in its second day right now.
We've got the next race headed down the course, which is the mixed double in the A category. In this final, in lane 1, we have the Vesper Composite boat. In lane 2, Texas Rowing Center. In lane 3, 612 Endurance Composite. In lane 4, Passaic River. In lane 5, Greater Columbus. And in lane 6, Atomic.
So Ohio, New Jersey, Tennessee, California, Texas, Pennsylvania, all represented in this race. And a great example of how many competitors are here from all around the nation. And right now the battle is in lane 4, Passaic River, out slightly ahead of the lane 5 Greater Columbus boat, passing the halfway mark. Then it's back to Texas Center, the 612 Endurance Composite, I believe, the Vesper Composite, and the Atomic boat there. A Texas boat trailing the field at the halfway point, but out in front, it's really a row for the Passaic River duo of Cortez and Moran in the mixed double A final, A category final.
There they are in lane 4, just edging out the Greater Columbus boat in lane 5 by less than a boat length. As both of those shells cross the 750 meter marker in this 1,000 meter race. followed by 612 Endurance Composite in lane 3.
The mixed doubles, one male, one female rower. You can hear the wind in the microphones here as the breeze picks up and kicks up from time to time with a little bit of a gust. Not too bad though. Perfect rowing conditions, as Rob mentioned, just around 80 degrees, upper 70s, 80 degrees, a little bit of cloud cover. Really looking good as we watch the mixed double A category final rowing to the line. A glance over from the boat from Passaic River at their competitors from 612 Endurance in Greater Columbus. They cross the line.
612 in lane 3 had been in third place, but they moved up to second in the last 250 meters of that race to take the silver, pushing Greater Columbus in lane 5 to the bronze.
Then Atomic and the Vesper Composite crossing the line. Fast and furious finals here. The national championships for the Masters, the adult rowers here in the United States and beyond. We have boats from Canada and Austria even rowing in this competition. So great to see, get that international flavor as we see an overhead view and a beautiful shot of the course here. That's right around the finish line looking towards downtown Grand Rapids. And a beautiful Friday afternoon as we see the next final coming down the course. And these are Category I, or the 75 to 79-year-olds rowing in the men's open doubles. 4 boats in the race. Potomac Composite in lane 2. In lane 3, it's Chinook. Then Detroit lane 4. And in lane 5, Saugatuck. Sargent and Cox from Potomac in lane 2. Bracewell and Ellsberg for Chinook. Brennan and Jones for Detroit. And Everett and Pasternak from Saugatuck. Saugatuck out in the lead at the halfway point quite considerably. A couple of boat lengths of open water back to the boat from Chinook. Then Potomac, followed by Detroit.
And the average age of the Saugatuck boat is 79. And they are wiping the field.
It's all about the technique. Technique and experience. That's what it takes, right? Very smooth as Chinook. And Potomac Composite continue to try to chase down that fast-moving Saugatuck boat, but 250 meters, the Red Boys just left to go with Everett and Pasternak from Saugatuck, continuing to move forward here in the mixed double open in the I category.
This is a fantastic performance by all of these competitors.
Alternating between sunshine and some shade from the clouds from time to time here. Perfect racing conditions on the Grand River. Here at Riverside Park, beautiful public park in downtown Grand Rapids, the largest of the dozens and dozens, close to 100 city parks. Is that correct?
There's a bunch. This one is quite big, though, and it makes it really an ideal venue, of course, with the riverfront and the long length of park. Excellent viewing everywhere along the river for this event. Great location for regattas.
So it is Everett and Pasternak from Saugatuck with the gold. That it looked like Chinook crossing in front of Potomac. And Detroit will be crossing the line. But quite a row for Everett and Pasternak of Saugatuck, winning the gold medal in the I category for the men's open doubles here at the 2019 Masters National Championships.
So, Mark, if you thought that the I category was impressive, have I got a race for you? Coming up next, the men's open double in the J category. The J is our highest category, featuring rowers with an average age of 80 or greater. Heading down the course now, in lane 2, it's the Potomac Composite. In lane 3, College Club Seattle Composite. And in lane 4, Colorado. In lane 1, Collins and Sutliff of Potomac Composite have an average age of 84.
The other two boats averaging out at 80. Right now it is the Potomac Composite, that older boat that it appears to be in the lead at the halfway point, with the College Club Seattle Composite in second, and then Colorado in third, at least from what we can see at this point. Again, the angle and the parallax a little interesting at times, but we'll get a great shot from overhead here in a moment. But it is that Potomac Composite out ahead right now of the College Club Seattle Composite in lane 3.
One of the things you notice with these competitors, a slightly shorter length of their stroke, but aside from that, really exceptional technique.
Fairly impressive stroke rate from that boat from Potomac Composite at Collins and Sutliff, as they are really moving down the course in between the 500 and 750 markers. Continuing to lead, a little bit of open water. Quick and energetic versus the long and strong of the College Club Seattle Composite in second right now, sticking right to their stern though.
Potomac Composite now passing the 750-meter marker, entering the final quarter of the race, as does College Club Seattle Composite. All right, let's hear it for these competitors in the last quarter of this race.
Collins and Sutliff showing that wine isn't the only thing that ages well. So do rowers, as they are beginning their sprint to the finish and the gold medal in the men's open double J category final here at the Masters National Championships. Big sprint at the end, opening up their lead over the second place boat from Coran and Wright of the College Club Seattle Composite. Then crossing the line in third will be Worcester and Mueller of Colorado. Fine team of videographers here at the Masters National Championships, keeping track of all the competitors, trying to track them down as they go along.
Our friends from Ferris State University television production here, providing these amazing pictures we're seeing off the ground.
Women's open single final in the F category underway and just passing through 750 right now. We have Helen Newman of Lake Washington out in the lead, hotly pursued. Back to the racing here at the Masters Nationals. Catching up with the women's open single final in the F category. Victoria Bialis from the BIAC, Bear Island Athletic Club there in lane 1. Elizabeth Runde from Martha's Moms in lane 2. An unaffiliated boat, Peggy Bailey in lane 3. Detroit's Roseanne Kirchhoff in lane 4 from DWRA. Diane Davis from South End in lane 5. And Helen Newman from Lake Washington in lane 6 in the women's open singles F category final. And it was Helen Newman from Lake Washington who was really moving fast at the finish, or at the 750, so didn't get a chance to catch up with the final as they crossed the finish line. We'll have to catch up with that, as you can follow along too for the results and the schedule on herenow.com. Men's lightweight singles F category next, with Steve Schmidt from Potomac in lane 1. From Malta, Ted Trocchi in lane 2. Joseph Alfano from 612 Endurance in lane 3. From Georgian Bay, Michael Hewitt in lane 4. David Reinisch from Chicago in lane 5. And in lane 6, Robert Simmons of Wichita, racing in the men's lightweight single F category final. And as they approach the halfway mark, all 6 of these boats in relative proximity to each other. But again, early on in the race, you never can tell because a lot can happen in the second half. But 5 of the boats, lanes 1 through 5, pretty close together, with the lane 6 boat, Wichita, just about a boat length off the pace at the halfway mark. Our little drone friend shows us that it is Ted Trocchi of Malta out in the lead, with 612 Endurance's Joseph Alfano in second. And third belongs to Georgian Bay's Michael Hewitt. And it's Stephen Schmidt from Potomac fighting in a battle with David Reinisch from Chicago for that 4th spot.
This light wind we're seeing upstream against the direction of the course having more of an impact on the singles as they have to fight through it.
The oars becoming sails when it gets windy. And a little bit of wind can do it. Now it's not too bad, a little calm right now, but the gusts come along and they can disrupt your rhythm and go. But look at this battle shaping up right now at the 750 mark. Very tight now between Alfano from 612 Endurance and the boat from Malta. It is Michael Hewitt from Georgian Bay and Ted Trocchi from Malta that are battling, with Alfano from 612 Endurance holding on to third, but being pressed both by Chicago's David Reinisch and the boat from Potomac, Steve Schmidt there. But a big push from Ted Trocchi of Malta trying to stay out in front, but Michael Hewitt from Georgia Bay trying to track him down as they head towards that finish line here, Rob.
Ted's got the edge in lane 2, but we're now really seeing a push here. Lane 4, Michael Hewitt. We may have a bit of a battle for the bronze in this one.
They're coming to the line. Ted Trocchi of Malta leading at the halfway point, continuing to lead. Michael Hewitt from Georgian Bay crossing in second. Joseph Alfano from 612 Endurance in third. Then Reinisch from Chicago. Schmidt from Potomac, and Robert Simmons from Wichita. Very tight, all within a few boat lengths of each other at the finish line there in the men's lightweight single final in the F category. You can see from overhead the effect of that 1,000-meter race. The Women's Open 8 final here in the D category next, Rob.
In lane 1, Chinook B. In lane 2, Riverside Composite. In lane 3, Atlanta. In lane 4, Chinook. In lane 5, Masters Coaching. And in lane 6, Annapolis.
Sun comes out to reveal the colors as they come roaring down the course here on the Grand River. Just at the halfway point. With Atlanta and Chinook looking to be battling it out in front. Riverside Composite not far behind. Neither is the other Chinook boat or the Masters Coaching Composite. About a boat length off the pace is Annapolis in lane 6. And as they cross the halfway point, still about anybody's race, but it looks like Chinook there in lane 4 is really beginning to pour it on and try to get out in front to stay out in front.
And there we can see Chinook nearly pulling ahead of lane 5, Masters Coaching, with Atlanta in the chase as well. Each 8 seats off each other. Followed by Riverside and Annapolis.
Riverside trying to track down, but Chinook out in the lead by about 5 seats as they hit the 750 mark. Chinook been pouring it on since about that halfway point, and now they are almost 8 seats up. They're coxing about even with the bow in the boat from Coach's Composite. In the meantime, it is that boat from Atlanta trying to stick with them as they go along. Atlanta in third right now, but the boat from Riverside Composite trying to track them down as they move along. Chinook, though, really pouring it on at the halfway point, continuing to pour it on, heading towards that finish. With the boat from Masters Coaching Composite hot on their heels as we see Masters Coaching Composite trying to make up some ground. Chinook continuing to pour it on as they head down the course to the finish line. It is still Chinook ahead of Masters Coaching Composite, Atlanta in third. As they come to the line, it's Chinook by almost a full boat length over Masters Coaching Composite. Then Atlanta will get the bronze. The Women's Open 8 D category final. Stroking across next is Riverside Composite, followed by the Annapolis boat. And Chinook B must have had a bit of an issue because they were right in the mix but seem to have fallen back, just crossing the finish line now in the Women's Open 8's D category. Men's lightweight singles D category final next. John Watt from Three Rivers in lane 1. Philip Bozensky unaffiliated in lane 2. It is Kenneth Wobesser from White Marsh in lane 3. In lane 4, Joel Griffith of River City. Charlie Gagliano of Greater Columbus in lane 5. Brian McIsaac from North Cascades in lane 6. And out ahead, it is that Joel Griffith River City boat right now approaching the 750 mark with Charlie Gagliano from Columbus right beside him, trying to catch up at the 750 mark. He's just about a boat length back, Gagliano is. Meanwhile, Wobesser of White Marsh not letting those two escape as they continue to really pour it on down the course.
Those top 3 fighting for medals, and then a bit of open water between third and our fourth, 5th, and 6th grouping.
Bozensky and Ben McIsaac for North Cascades, followed by John Watt of Three Rivers in that order. But out front, really pouring it on. It does look like Gagliano from Greater Columbus is trying to do his best. He has now moved into second over Wobesser from White Marsh. White Marsh was beginning to catch up, but out in front, Joel Griffith from River City. 750, he was out in the lead by about a boat length, and that's how much he'll win by. With Gagliano from Greater Columbus getting the silver, and Keith Wobesser from White Marsh with the bronze in the men's lightweight singles D category final.
Coming in fourth there with lane 2, Philip Bozensky, followed by Ben McIsaac from North Cascades in lane 6. And John Watt from Three Rivers in lane 1. Next up, the Women's Open Double in the B category. In lane 1, Main and Cuddy of Riverside. In lane 2, Kaplan and Arangus from Vesper. In lane 3, Coletta and Severson from 612 Endurance. In lane 4, Perry and Smith from Dolphin Composite. In lane 5, Kra and Kaufman from Coach's Associate Composite. And in lane 6, Falco and Anders, Vesper.
Vesper boat in lane 2, battling with Coaches Association Composite, the other Vesper boat, and the Dolphin Composite out in front. All those boats linked by about a boat length, passing through 600 meters. Main and Cuddy from Riverside trailing, but out in front at 750. It is that Dolphin Composite in lane 4. Just neck and neck with the Vesper boat in lane 2. Coaches Association, Dolphin Composite, 612 Endurance. They're all there within about a boat length of each other as we look overhead at Kaplan and Aringas from Vesper in lane 2, who are now beginning to pull out, but continuing to be chased by the Coaches Association Composite. Really pouring it on. They come down to the line. Kaplan and Aringas from Vesper just barely ahead of the Coaches Association Composite, Akra and Huffman.
And Dolphin Composite in lane 4 and third. That was extraordinarily close between first and second.
Dolphin Composite in third, and Coletta and Severson of 612 Endurance in fourth. And the other Vesper boat in fifth, and Main and Cuddy of Riverside in sixth in the women's open double B category final.
Up next, midway down the course now, is the men's open 4 in the B category. In lane 1, DC Strokes B. In lane 2, Genesee. Lane 3, San Diego. In lane 4, Riverfront Recapture. In lane 5, DC Strokes. And in lane 6, Western Reserve. DC Strokes in lane 5, currently battling with Riverfront Recapture in lane 4 for the lead.
They are battling it out. Meanwhile, it's also San Diego and Western Reserve battling for third. Then back to Genesee and DC Strokes B boat. But out front, that battle really is shaping up between DC Strokes in lane 5 and Riverfront Recapture. In lane 4, advantage at 750 to DC Strokes, but Riverfront Recapture beginning to really
only by
move.
A seat.
Third place is the Western Reserve boat, but close behind is San Diego in lane 4. But boy, that DC Strokes just kicked it into a new gear, and Riverfront Recapture trying to keep it. They're going neck and neck right now, and again, the battle for third, very tight between San Diego and the Western Reserve.
That's Riverfront Recapture and DC Strokes, your two lead boats.
Riverfront Recapture right now, having poured it on, they have about a deck over the DC Strokes boat at this point. Very close to the finish as they're coming down. DC Strokes trying to chase down Riverfront Recapture. In the meantime, bronze, a battle between San Diego and Western Reserve.
And it's Riverfront Recapture ahead by about a foot ahead of DC Strokes.
Western Reserve will get the bronze. San Diego in fourth in that race for the men's open 4s B category.
Followed by Genesee in lane 2 and the DC Strokes B boat in lane 1.
Next final, the women's lightweight AA to A 4s on the course at the halfway point with Lincoln Park Boat Club in lane 2, Greater Houston Composite in lane 3, and Minneapolis in lane 4. Advantage right now to the Greater Houston Composite over the boat from Minneapolis right now. but it's at the halfway point, and these lightweights can really cover a lot of water in a short amount of time. So we'll see Minneapolis really stroking hard, keeping up with that Greater Houston composite with Lincoln Park Boat Club right behind them.
Minneapolis in lane 4 actually in category C in this AA event, which they're allowed to do. They can enter a younger race, but still holding their own with an average age of 44 compared to the other boats with average ages of 28 and 34. Minneapolis doing quite well considering their category.
You're watching live streaming coverage of the U.S. Rowing Masters National Championship from Grand River in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm Mark Brazell here with Rob Shea calling the races on this beautiful Michigan afternoon. Here the women's lightweight fours AA to A final with Minneapolis pulling here at the 750 meter mark, just ahead of that boat from Greater Houston Composite. But as we watch them go by from our vantage point, that Houston boat is on the move and beginning to catch up with Minneapolis. Let's see if Minneapolis can catch up with them. And the boat from Lincoln Park crossing through 750 right now.
I don't think Greater Houston was too happy with the thought of people 10 years older than them whooping them at the finish.
They are beginning to pour it on. Minneapolis trying to hold them off, but Greater Houston beginning to creep up on the boat from Minneapolis. They're in the final 70 meters of the race.
Looks like some challenges here in the Lincoln Park boat. Stopped rowing. I don't know if they have
caught a crab. It looked like the bow caught a crab there, so they're trying to get their rhythm back underway, and they are back underway. But at the finish line, it is Minneapolis pouring it on at the end. The older boat beating out the Greater Houston Composite for first place in the women's lightweight AA to A. Lincoln Park Boat Club boat catching a crab right about 800 meters from the start, bringing them almost to a dead stop in the water before they could get that oar back out and get back underway. Lincoln Park recovers and crosses the line. Now the women's lightweight fours in the E category racing. They are about 600 meters in right now. The lineup is Mendota in lane 1, Saugatuck lane 2, Chinook in lane 3, Notre Dame Composite in lane 4, and Carnegie Lake in lane 5. Out in front it is Chinook. Excuse me, that looks like the blackest Saugatuck that is out front. It is Saugatuck out in the lead at 750 meters with Notre Dame Composite followed by they're moving right along. Saugatuck really beginning to pour it on as they move down. A battle for second going on between Carnegie Lake and the Notre Dame Composite. Chinook behind. I don't see the Mendota boat. There may have been wait a minute. Actually, Lincoln Park was the one way out front. We had a slip in the schedule. Lincoln Park crossing the line first. Greater Columbus in second. Western Reserve in third. The men's lightweight AA to C 4 final. Then Riverfront Recapture crossing over in fourth. Now to the women's lightweight fours. Category E final. Mendota in lane 1, Saugatuck lane 2, Chinook in lane 3, Notre Dame Composite lane 4, and Carnegie Lake in lane 5. And it sounds like I'm calling the same race again. That was my mistake. Traffic building up again here at the recovery dock as the finals are coming fast and furious here at the U.S. Rowing Masters National Championship. Every 3 minutes a medal race coming down the course here on the Grand River. .500 meters for the women's lightweight fours. Mendota, Saugatuck, Chinook lining up across the race course.
Chinook with a slight edge in lane 3, but not by much.
Carnegie Lake in the mix as well. Notre Dame Composite about a boat length behind. The women's lightweight fours E category on the water. The Carnegie Lake boat really moving, as is the Saugatuck and Mendota boats. But here's where the oar hits the water, the final 300 meters of this 1,000-meter race. Now Carnegie Lake out in front right now. Chinook, Saugatuck, and Mendota trying to track him down. Saugatuck's the one beginning to walk up as they approach the 750-meter mark. Carnegie Lake out in front, but Chinook and Saugatuck moving up on him. Mendota sticking right to the stern of that boat from Saugatuck and trying to move with them.
Mendota trying to move up and
keeping up too.
Mendota trying to move up in lane 1 to join that pack of 3. Looking overhead, we can see it's quite a battle. Maybe a slight edge for Saugatuck in lane 2, but very close between those 4 shells.
Carnegie Lake trying to hold on. Chinook, Saugatuck, Mendota all moving. The final 60 meters. Big pulls from the Saugatuck boat. Really beginning to walk up as they approach the finish line. Saugatuck moving ahead through 750. Continuing to pull away from the other boats, and at the finish line, it is Saugatuck, Chinook in second, Carnegie Lake in third, and Mendota settling or just off the podium in fourth. Then the Notre Dame Composite boat crossing in fifth in the women's lightweight fours E category final.
For those of us here in Riverside Park, join us for Food Truck Friday. Grand Rapids welcomes U.S. rowing participants and spectators to head over to Food Truck Friday near the City Shuttle Stop at Boat Launch 2. Grab a shuttle and head down that way. There are plenty of options for dining from our local food vendors. The event runs today from 5 to 9 p.m., so it's started already. So grab a shuttle and head down to Boat Launch 2 for Food Truck Friday.
Boat Launch 2 up near the start?
That's correct, up near the start. Upstream.
The women's lightweight fours in the F category next. Avalon Composite B in lane 1, Minneapolis in lane 2, Chinook in lane 3, CRI in lane 4, Rocket City lane 5, Rock Creek in lane 6. Chinook out in front just ahead of CRI early in the race. Minneapolis not far behind. Then back to Rocket City, Avalon, and Rock Creek. The women's lightweight 4 in the F category. Right at the halfway mark, and we saw a shot from the drone that showed the battle right there in the middle between Chinook and CRI. CRI sticking right with them. Minneapolis not far behind, neither is Rocket City at this stage of the game.
repeating this pattern of Chinook jumping out to an early lead, as we've seen many times.
They do have about 2/3 of a boat length right now in between 500 and 750. CRI trying to stick with them. And again, Rocket City and the boat from Minneapolis battling for that third spot, but Chinook out in the lead. .250 meters from the goal. Chinook beginning to pour it on. They have a 3-seat, now a 4-seat lead over the boat from CRI, but CRI beginning to pick it up. Rocket City on the move as well, right there with the CRI boat. In the meantime, Minneapolis trying to stick with them. They're in 4th right now. Then it's back to Rock Creek and Avalon Composite in that order. Chinook's lead, though. CRI has made a little bit of that back.
Now closing in on the last 100 meters of this women's lightweight 4 in the F category.
The CRI Coxless sitting up and barking, really trying to push her rowers, try to catch up with Chinook. Chinook, though, continuing to lead as they approach the finish line. Chinook crossing the line. The women's lightweight 4 F category final, just about 2/3 of a boat length over CRI for the silver. Rocket City in the bronze. Minneapolis in 4th. We wait for Avalon Composite B and the Rock Creek boat in the women's lightweight 4's F category final will be the Rock Creek boat crossing ahead of the Avalon B boat.
Coming up next, the women's lightweight 4 in the G category. We see them heading downstream now, approaching the 500-meter mark. In lane 1, Vesper Composite. In lane 2, Masters Coaching. In lane 3, San Diego. In lane 4, Chinook B. And in lane 5, Masters Coaching Composite B. Looks like Masters Coaching in lane 2 and San Diego in lane 3 out in front. Followed by Masters Coaching B in lane 5, Vesper in lane 1, and Chinook B in lane 4. Nope, that's actually Chinook B closer to the front and Masters Coaching B out in lane 5. Now we can see that Chinook B is out in front in lane 4, followed by San Diego in lane 3, Masters Coaching in lane 2, Vesper in lane 1, and then Masters Coaching B in lane 5. 2/3 of the way through the race now.
Chinook again leading a race, racking up those Team Cup points. You have boat length right now over the boat from San Diego, then back to the Masters Coaching boat, Vesper Composite, and the Masters Coaching B boat at 750.
A little bit of open water now between San Diego in second and Masters Coaching in lane 2 and third.
Chinook really dominating in these competitions. This was the Chinook B boat that advanced to the final in the women's lightweight 4s. In the G category, 65 to 69. Still leading over San Diego at the finish line by a boat length. Chinook winning the gold in the women's lightweight fours G category. Then San Diego and Masters coaching. Vesper Composite will cross the line next. Then the Masters coaching Composite B. Looking upriver and past the many bridges over the Grand towards Grand Rapids downtown here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The Masters National Championship streaming live on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel. I'm Mark Purcell with Bob Shea. Glad to have you along and watching this competition. Second day of finals, second day of gold, silver, and bronze being handed out here at the Masters Rowing Nationals.
Got the Ann Street Bridge there in the foreground, followed by a train bridge. Off in the distance, Leonard Street, and I don't think you want to row much past that as you start to get into the low-level dams down at that part of the river. But we don't head down that far. This is about as far as we go downriver.
Before we continue with our next final, we'll take a break to hear from one of our sponsors. A healthy gut means the U.S. Rowing Masters National Championship from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Mark Purcell and Rob Shea bringing you the races on the second day of finals at the National Championships. The women's lightweight 4H plus final. That's 70 years old plus final. Two boats racing for the final here, Avalon and the Vesper Composite B. Avalon in lane 3, Vesper Composite B in lane 4, and Vesper out ahead at the moment.
Vesper Composite B in lane 4 with an average age of 76. And the Avalon boat in lane 3 with an average age of 70 in this women's lightweight 4 in the H plus category.
The Cox of the Vesper Composite turning her head to check on the competition in between 500 and 750. Vesper Composite B out ahead by a boat length or so over the Avalon boat in lane 3. Rowing at all ages, trying to bring rowing to the masses. A great sport that conditions both aerobic and cardiac, as well as every major muscle group, and all the benefits being revealed here at the Masters National Championships.
Now crossing the 750 meter mark.
Still Vesper leading Avalon. Vesper does have a few years more experience than the Avalon boat.
Another event demonstrating the benefits of experience over youth.
Indeed. Down to the line, Vesper Composite B continuing to stroke. And Avalon B crossing the line too in the women's lightweight fours H plus final.
Already heading down the course now, just past the midway point, is the Men's Club 8 in the D category. This club event means that everybody in the shell has to be a member of the same club. In lane 1, New Haven. In lane 2, Texas. In lane 3, Western Reserve. In lane 4, Greenwich. And in lane 5, 612 Endurance. Now 2/3 of the way down the course. With Western Reserve out front. Followed by Texas by 6 seats behind, and Greenwich just 4 seats behind them. Then 612 Endurance and New Haven.
Nice close pack there at 750. See if they begin to spread out or get closer together. Always with these big boats, hard to say what happens in those final 250 meters.
Western Reserve looking to pull away, but the gap closing between Texas and Greenwich in lanes 2 and 4 for second place.
Western Reserve looking very strong here in the D category in the Club 8s, and they will get the gold. And coming down for the silver, I think that it may have been Texas Center just edging out Greenwich, but we'll leave it up to the officials
That
to
was
call there.
Texas Center by a bow ball.
Very, very sweet. 612 Endurance following them, followed by New Haven in the Meds Club 8 D category final. Green and New Haven now crossing the line. Back up to water. We zoom as these final races coming down the course every 3 minutes. Next one underway, approaching the halfway mark. It's the men's lightweight singles in the G category. The lineup in lane 1 from Potomac, it's Ed Ryan. Lane 2, Kevin Conroy from 612 Endurance. In lane 3, Rocky Mountains, David Stevens. In lane 4, Jeff Gilliland from Wyandotte. And in lane 5, Patrice Rio from San Diego. Jeff Gilliland from Wyandotte out in the lead at the halfway point. Kevin Conroy and Ed Ryan not far behind. With Ed Ryan from Potomac holding on to second right now. Third does belong to Kevin Conroy from 612 Endurance. Then it appears Patrice Rio from San Diego in fourth, and David Stevens from Rocky Mountain in fifth. But Jeff Gilliland from Wyandotte really showing what he has out in the lead with a boat length or two. Breeze begins to pick up a little bit again. Not detrimental, but it certainly does have an effect on single scullers, the larger boats, of course. A little more weight and control with more people lending a hand. But 750 meters in, Jeff Gilliland from Wyandotte not looking phased by any bit of the breeze. Ed Ryan from Potomac, Kevin Conroy from 612 Endurance. Rio from San Diego, also right there in the mix. We'll, I think, see a battle for that silver and bronze. Though Kevin Conroy trying to track down Ed Ryan from Potomac, but Ed Ryan in pretty good shape for the silver at this point. Smooth and confident. Jeff Gilliland continuing a stroke towards the gold for Wyandotte.
Crosses the line, Jeff Gilliland from Wyandotte in lane 4. And in lane 1, it's Ed Ryan from Potomac. Lane 2, Kevin Conroy from 612 Endurance, followed by lane 5, Patrice Rio in San Diego, and David Stevens in lane 3.
David Gilliland, the Michigander, sort of on home waters, winning the gold there in the men's lightweight single final. Now to the women's club quads E category final. Baltimore, lane 1, Upper Valley, lane 2, Three Rivers, lane 3, Georgian Bay in lane 4, Rocky Mountain in lane 5, the Vesper Seaboat in lane 6. Spread out pretty good at the 600-meter mark, but advantage right now is in lane 4 for Georgian Bay. The Canadians out in the lead, but in the meantime, right now in lane 2, it's Upper Valley who's beginning to move forward and challenge the second place that it was being held there by the boat from Vesper, the Vesper Seaboat. But it is Upper Valley really on the move here. Georgian Bay out front. Then it's back to Three Rivers, Rocky Mountain, and Baltimore. But wow, Georgian Bay really stroking well through 750, but they're being hotly pursued by that boat from Upper Valley in lane 2. Georgian Bay from Midland, Ontario, Canada, rowing on Little Lake. Well practiced coming into these Masters National Championships. But boy, look at this Upper Valley boat, really beginning to move towards the finish line. They do have a firm hold on second, but Georgian Bay for the gold. Upper Valley will have the silver, and it looks like the boat from Vesper Sea will be in third. And Three Rivers, Rocky Mountain, and Baltimore in that order in the women's club quads E final. Club quads up next too in the F category in the club quads.
So we've got a whole series of women's quads here in various categories, 4 in a row. This will be the second one in the F category. In lane 1, Greenwich. In lane 2, Minneapolis F. In lane 3, Saugatuck B. In lane 4, Vesper B. In lane 5, Greater Columbus B. And in lane 6, Mendota. This is the F category of the women's club quad.
See some bright fluorescence of Greenwich out there.
Early in this race, it looks like lane 2, Minneapolis, Saugatuck B in lane 3, and Vesper in lane 4, all in the lead. Doing battle up front. Followed by Greater Columbus B in lane 5, Mendota in lane 6, and Greenwich in lane 1. Now passing the midway part of the race.
What a battle right there in the middle. Minneapolis, Saugatuck, Vesper. Advantage Vesper right now, but not much of an advantage, just about a boat deck. Minneapolis with second, but just by about a foot over Saugatuck in third, although within about a half a boat length of each other through the 500, approaching 6.
This is lanes 2, 3, and 4, all right next to each other.
And Greater Columbus right now in fourth with Mendota and Greenwich in 5th and 6th.
That Vesper B boat is pulling ahead, correcting a little bit to stay in their lane so they don't interfere with Saugatuck. right behind them in lane 3. And on the far right of your screen, you see Minneapolis in lane 2.
Minneapolis had a little bit of an advantage over Saugatuck, but Saugatuck has made up that advantage and begun to pull more firmly into second. But at 750, it is Vesper by almost a boat length. Saugatuck by half a boat length here, Rob.
Following them, now crossing 750 in lane 5 is Greater Columbus, then Mendota in lane 6, followed by Greenwich in lane 1. But the top 3 are firmly ahead in their own pack.
It is sticking pretty much the same as we look from overhead, look down into the Vesper boat, continuing to confidently stroke towards the finish line. Saugatuck about the same distance back in second right now as they were at the 750 mark. And Minneapolis losing a bit of ground, but we'll see if they can make up some of that ground as they come to the finish line. But in the women's club quads final for the F category, it is Vesper by a boat length over Saugatuck. Big surge from Minneapolis, but they're half a boat length back. So Saugatuck for silver, Minneapolis for bronze in the women's quads, club quads in the F category. Then Greater Columbus, Mendota, and Greenwich in that order. Moving further up the alphabet.
Moving up the age categories. Now we're in the women's club quad in the G category. This event features in lane 1, Martha's Moms. In lane 2, Atlanta. Lane 3, Greater Columbus. Lane 4, Texas C. Lane 5, Saugatuck.
As we join the race just past the 500-meter mark, the U.S. referees, U.S. rowing referees, directing the Atlanta boat to correct course. Saugatuck, Texas Center, Martha's Moms, all battling towards the front. Advantage Saugatuck on the far side of the course at this moment. Texas Center C tracking them down, or attempting to track them down. They are side by side with a slight advantage to that Texas Center C boat. By slight, I mean a foot or two. And that's about it. Then it's over to Martha's Moms and Greater Columbus in that order.
Greater Columbus starting to move up on Martha's Moms to battle for third, and then Atlanta after that. So we've got 2 packs here. We've got in the far lanes, Texas and Saugatuck looking for gold within just 2 seats of each other as they cross the 750. And then Greater Columbus and Martha's Moms within just 2 seats of each other as they cross the 750.
Saugatuck in the lead, but Texas Center dogging them right down the course. As we look and get a close, good vantage point, you can see just how close, maybe inches. And I don't know if either really has the advantage. It's sort of whoever has their oars in the water at any given moment.
Whoever's taken that last stroke across the finish line is the winner.
We'll see. Texas Center and Saugatuck battling for the gold here in the women's club quads G category.
Slight edge to Saugatuck at this point. Maybe a foot. Not much.
Just saw the boat from Texas Center kick it up a notch, and they have begun to pull ahead. They have
Texas
power
Center moves ahead
of Saugatuck, and at the line it is
very close.
Very close.
Look, from the finish angle, it looks like Saugatuck over Texas Center, but I'm going to have to leave that to the
and then the battle
photo
for the
finish
bronze
camera
there between Greater Columbus and Martha's Moms. Too close to call as well from the angle that we have. And Atlanta crossing the line in the women's club quads G category final.
Fantastic. So absolutely be sure to check out the results at herenow.com to get the official results for the end of that race. Very exciting. Too close to call.
2 more quad races. Men's Open quads coming up after this final. The women's club quads H category final. That's 70 to 74. On the water, Vesper in lane 2, Texas Center D in lane 3, and Saugatuck in D in lane 4. And as they approach the 500-meter mark, at least from our angle, very tightly spaced. Maybe an advantage to Saugatuck there. We'll have to see.
This is the fourth of our women's club quad events, this one in the H category, featuring competitors with an average age of 70 to 74.
Saugatuck looking strong, so does Vesper. Texas Center not left out. I think Saugatuck has the advantage through 500, but Vesper right there. Saugatuck continuing to ply forward here in the Women's Club Quads H category final.
Now approaching the 750 mark is Saugatuck in lane 4. Followed by Texas, about 2 boat lengths back in lane 3. And 1 more boat length back is Vesper in lane 2.
Saugatuck in fine form, stroking towards another gold here in the women's quads, club quads.
Fantastic.
In the final handful of strokes here.
Fantastic technique in these rowers, barely a splash to be seen.
So it is Saugatuck in the women's club quads H age category, winning the gold. Texas Center will cross in second. And Vesper in third.
Already charging down the course now is the men's open quad, final in the E category. Up in front in lane 3. Lane 4, Merry Meeting Composite, followed by Texas Center in lane 3. Chinook in lane 2. Merry Meadow Composite B in lane 6. Georgian Bay in lane 5. And Chinook B in lane 1.
That Merry Meeting Composite boat really flying, but boy, there is a real dogfight wrapping up with the Texas Center right now. Looks like Texas Center is on the move, stroking up on the Merry Meeting Composite.
That's Texas Center in the foreground in lane 3. Merry Meeting Composite in lane 4. And it's going to be Texas Center edging out.
Woof.
Merry Meeting Composite, followed by Chinook in lane 2. And Merry Meeting Composite B in lane 6. Followed by Georgian Bay in lane 5. And Chinook B in lane 1.
You're watching live streaming coverage on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel of the 2019 Masters National Championships. We're in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's the second day of finals, gold medal finals underway. We'll return after these messages from our sponsors.
With over 15 years of experience in the launch business, Row America delivers competitive pricing, durability, stability, and comfort in every launch they make. With tons of customizable options, it's no wonder that our launches are used by the best coaches in the world to coach the best rowers in the world. With boats in stock ready to ship, reach out to your local sales representative for a quote today.
Soak up the sun along the white sand beaches of Sarasota, Florida. Treat yourself to diverse dining, enriching arts and culture, shopping districts of all sorts, and natural Florida fun. In Sarasota, each moment is your own. Go to visitsarasota.com and discover the incredible world that exists in Sarasota County on Florida's Gulf Coast when you go beyond the beaches. I'm Mark Brazell with Rob Shea, live streaming the U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The Friday of finals underway right now with the Women's Club Fours C category final. All the categories are age categories, C being 43 to 49. In the lineup here, we have CRI in lane 1, Greenwich Crew in lane 2, Minneapolis lane 3, Carnegie Lake B in lane 4, Alexandria in lane 5, and Atlanta in lane 6. As we join the race on the water, it is a race in the middle between Minneapolis and Greenwich Crew, with CRI not far behind. Also Alexandria, Atlanta, and Carnegie Lake's B boat. One of the faster qualifiers now in lane 4, but just behind the field. Out front, though, quite a battle shaping up, with Atlanta looking very strong in lane 6 on the far side. Alexandria not that far behind, as Minneapolis and Greenwich Crew, closer to the audience, does continue to move right along. See how they shape up here at the 750 mark, but it looks like that Atlanta boat in lane 6 has a slight advantage over Alexandria. Then a battle for third between Minneapolis and the Greenwich Crew.
Following them is CRI in lane 1 and Carnegie Lake in lane 4.
Looked like CRI had a bit of a bobble, slowed down for just a minute, but back underway and grabbing water. But at 750, it's Atlanta in the blue boat crossing the line first, with that boat from Alexandria right behind them, just about a boat deck back. Third will belong to Minneapolis, with Greenwich right behind them by about 2/3 of a boat length. And then CRI has recovered, and they are battling now again with the boat from Carnegie Lake.
Stroke rate's really picking up as we enter the last 150 meters of the race.
Yeah, I can see Greenwich really pouring it on. The boat from Atlanta looking strong here in lane 6, and they are beginning to pull away from that boat from Alexandria in second place. And it is a gold medal to Atlanta in the Women's Club Fours final in the C category. Alexandria in second. Minneapolis outlasting Greenwich. Minneapolis will come in third, Greenwich in fourth. With Carnegie Lake B crossing the line just ahead of the boat from CRI. There's the Women's Club C category fours, now the Men's Club C category fours.
Up in lane 1, we have Riverfront Recapture. Lane 2, Minneapolis. In lane 3, Texas. In lane 4, Wyandotte. In lane 5, Nashville. And in lane 6, Western Reserve.
Again, it looks like that lane 6 is a favorable lane here in the fours, because Western Reserve out in the front with the boats from Wyandotte and Texas Center.
Followed by Minneapolis in lane 2, Western Reserve in lane 6, and Riverfront Recapture in lane 1.
Last quarter of the race just about to begin. It is Western Reserve out in front, with a battle between Wyandotte and Texas Center right behind them. Then Minneapolis.
Then Nashville, and then Riverfront.
But boy, Western Reserve looking very strong on the far side of the course, but we'll see what's happening with second. It
It's
looks
a
like right
battle for
now.
the silver shaping up here.
Yeah, Texas Center is on the move and moving forward. They have overtaken, and it looks like they are passing the boat from Wyandotte. As that boat from Western Reserve in lane 6 still working hard. Texas Center looking very powerful at the line. But wow, what a race between Texas Center and Wyandotte. Very close to call. It might be that Wyandotte outlasted Texas Center, but Western Reserve very much in the front. Here comes Minneapolis across the line, followed by Riverfront, Recapture, and Nashville.
Great performance at the end there from Wyandotte, from the eastern part of Michigan.
The Women's Open double A final at the halfway point. Lineup here is Sevenler and Lang Bentley from Genesee in lane 1. From Atomic, Nealon and Rogers in lane 2. In lane 3, DeLong and Hindley from OKC Riversport. Lane 4 is Falco and Mather from Vesper. From Greater Columbus, Howloff and Bushman in lane 5. And Zappel and Sage from Lincoln Park in lane 6. In the Women's Open double A final. It is that Greater Columbus boat with Howloff and Bushman in the lead right now. With OKC Riversport in second, Atomic in third, then Lincoln Park and Vesper in that order, with Genesee trailing the field by a few boat lengths, but really on the move right there is that OKC Riversport boat trying to catch up with Greater Columbus.
Now entering the last 200 meters of the race. Greater Columbus trying to hold on to their edge. Fight off the attack from OKC Riversport in lane 3. Now approaching the finish.
Very strong showing from that Greater Columbus double. But OKC Riversport trying to track them down.
In lane 5, Greater Columbus, followed by OKC Riversport in lane 3, and Atomic in lane 2 for the bronze. That's Vesper in 4, followed by Lincoln Park in 6.
Our presenting sponsor today is Row America. At Row America, we're passionate about rowing. We're energized about growing and nurturing our sport from the bottom up. We've seen firsthand the positive transformation it's had on thousands of young individuals, and our goal is to amplify that impact. Row America is driven by a desire to support, promote, and expand the sport of rowing. Together, we can grow the sport of rowing. Come join us at rowamerica.com to learn more. Row America, today's presenting sponsor. The finals fast and furious, and can't get faster than the men's Open 8s in the A category final.
Charging down the course now in lane 1, Texas. Lane 2, Austin. In lane 3, Riverfront Recapture. In lane 4, Chicago. In lane 5, Lincoln Park. And in lane 6, San Diego.
Really, it is Austin, Riverfront Recapture, Chicago, and Lincoln Park going at it out in front, with San Diego and Texas Center slightly off the pace at the 500-meter mark. But it looks like the dark unis on the far side of the course of Lincoln Park and Chicago are battling back and forth, but the green and blue of Riverfront Recapture right there with them as they are moving down the course. Austin not being left behind, though, in 4th place right now as they approach the 750-meter mark. They are lined up just about a couple of seats apart here.
It's anybody's gold at this point. Just a couple seats separating the top 3 competitors, Lincoln Park, Chicago, and Riverfront Recapture in lanes 5, 4, and 3. At the 750, it looks like Chicago has about a 2-foot edge over Riverfront, but Lincoln Park in lane 5 is right in as well.
And Riverfront Recapture, I have to say, they're in lane 3 is moving up with them as well. So a very, very fierce fight up in the front. Lanes 3, 4, and 5. Riverfront Recapture, Chicago, Lincoln Park, advantage Chicago for the moment, but Riverfront Recapture on the move, up and walking up a seat at a time as they are into the final portion of the race. Look at this finish here, shaping up with Riverfront Recapture and Chicago battling it out. Lincoln Park right there, they may have another gear too.
That's Chicago in lane 4, trying to hold on to the lead. We see Lincoln Park in 5, coming up on the finish now.
Oh, and it is by 2 seats. Chicago over Riverfront Recapture. Lincoln Park in 3rd in the men's Open 8A final. Austin followed by San Diego. I didn't see where Texas Center finished there, but boy, what an exciting finish for those 3 boats so close together. There goes the Texas Center across the line in the men's Open 8A category final.
Probably one of the fastest overall times we've seen in this 1,000-meter course so far this week.
The Women's Club 8B category final just underway right now up the course. 5 boats in this final here. CRI in lane 1, San Diego lane 2, Capital lane 3, Chicago lane 4, Minneapolis in lane 5. Chicago just winning the men's Open 8A category final. Let's see how the Women's Club 8 for Chicago does in this race. The B category, 36 to 42 years old. As we fly up with our little drone friend towards the race, which is about 200 meters in, closing fast on that halfway point.
We can see from here there is not much separating these 5 shells.
Exciting racing when it comes to the 8s. Women's Club 8s, B category final, halfway point. No one dominating the race yet. Half the race to go.
From the left, Minneapolis, then Chicago, Capital in the middle lane, San Diego, followed by CRI on the far right. At this point, Capital has pulling a slight edge, but it's still extremely close.
Capital and Chicago, the darker unis very close together. Advantage right now for Capital. Though San Diego on one side and Chicago on the other, right there with them. The green of Minneapolis on the far side of the course, not far out. Neither is the red of CRI. But they are beginning to separate here in the third 250. Capital continuing to inch forward, moving past that boat from Chicago. San Diego on the move too.
Chicago's currently in second, but getting attacked on the far lane by Minneapolis and in lane 2 from San Diego.
San Diego and Minneapolis are really pacing that Chicago boat. And they were bow ball to bow ball at the 750. We see the Minneapolis coxswain glancing to the left, checking out where San Diego is, and San Diego glancing to the right to see where Minneapolis is as they begin to pull hard in the final 250 of the race. It's out in front is the boat from Capital with Chicago trying to chase them down. In the meantime, San Diego is pulled into second and moving ahead of the boat from Chicago as Minneapolis and San Diego continue to chase down those leaders, but Capital really showing a fine form as they continue to lead this race.
Now approaching the finish, there's your gold winner, lane 3, Capital, followed by Chicago in 4 and San Diego in lane 2. Then a close fourth, Minneapolis in lane 5 and CRI in lane 1.
Boy, that boat from San Diego make up a lot of ground. A great effort from San Diego to pull into third, but what a showing from Capital, accelerating all the way down the 1,000 meters of this race course here on the Grand River in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where you're watching on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel. Live streaming of the 2019 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championship. What I like to call the drag racers of rowing, the quads again on the water, the men's open quads B category final.
In lane 1, Everett Association. In lane 2, Austin. In lane 3, Riverfront Recapture. Lane 4, Lake Leelanau. Lane 5, Greater Columbus. And in lane 6, Texas.
As those outside lanes here, the Everett Association in Texas Center out in front right now, dragging along the rest of the field. Then it looks like Greater Columbus, Lake Leelanau, back to Riverfront Recapture.
Look out for Everett in lane
Austin.
1.
But Texas Center at 750 out in the lead by about a boat length over Everett, but Everett on the move. Greater Columbus holding on to third, but it does appear that Lake Leelanau has some designs on snatching that bronze from them. Lake Leelanau trying to catch up with Greater Columbus, but still out front. A battle between the Everett Association in lane 1 and Texas Center in lane 6. Hard to line them up all the way across the course here, Rob.
Just a bit of an edge here in lane 6, Texas, as we approach the last 100 meters of the race. Everett trying to close the gap in lane 1, but they're not going to do it. It's going to be Texas in lane 6 crossing first, followed by Everett in lane 1.
Here comes the battle for the bronze. Greater Columbus trying to hold on. Lake Leelanau charging, but it looks like Greater Columbus held on. But boy, look at that move. Lake
Really closed the gap, but just, it was, that was the, we needed a 1,050 meter race to close that one. Very close, though, at the end.
Then Austin crosses the line in the men's open quads B category final.
Up next is the women's open straight 4 in the D category. In lane 1, Baltimore. In lane 2, Minneapolis D. In lane 3, Chinook. In lane 4, Texas. And in lane 5, East Arm.
We'll have 3 races here in the straight 4. Straight 4s being sweep boats with 4 rowers, 1 oar per rower. And unlike the other boats in the competition, the 4s or the 8s, where you will see a plus after the number, that plus denotes a coxswain. These are a 4 minus, that minus meaning no coxswain. So, as Rob says, the straight 4
could be really important here. We saw some challenges earlier today when the breeze picked up. We've got a little bit of a breeze coming in now, a little bit of a gust, and the challenge is that these straight 4s are much harder to steer without a coxswain. And so we saw some challenges with shells being able to stay in their lane when they hit up a bit of a breeze. So we'll see if that's going to play into an effect in this race.
Chinook and East Arm out in front. Minneapolis not far behind. Neither is Texas Center or Baltimore at the halfway point in the straight 4s. The first of 3 races in straight 4s for the women's open straight 4s. We'll have the D category here, E category next, and then the F plus category. So going from the 50 to 54 age range to 55 to 59 to 60 plus in these 3 races. But out in front, it is East Arm in lane 5 with about a boat length of open water or more over the second place boat from Chinook. And there's a battle between Minneapolis and Texas Center right behind them.
Yeah, we're already seeing a little bit of movement here and some lane drifting. This breeze that just picked up for this race is causing a bit of challenges for these straight 4s.
just like a car out of alignment going down the highway to see looking like it's going sideways. That's how some of these boats are looking as they slide down. But East Arm looking very strong. Chinook beginning to try to pour it on, but Texas Center right there with them as they continue to row down towards the finish line. In the meantime, Minneapolis in fourth right now, trying to catch up, but they have open water to make up to be able to catch up. Baltimore in the race as well, crossing through 750, but out front and continuing to lead East Arm.
Out front by about a shell length of open water.
Greenwood Lake, New York. Rowing on Greenwood Lake, the East Arm Rowing Club here looking for a gold at the Masters National Championships. And they cross the line for the gold. The Women's Open Straight 4 final. Chinook will hold on to the silver, pulling ahead of the Texas Center. Texas Center will be in third. Then the green of Minneapolis and the black and yellow of Baltimore.
For all of our spectators here in Riverside Park, just a reminder that it's Happy Food Truck Friday. Grand Rapids welcomes U.S. Rowing and participants and spectators to head over to the Food Truck Friday near the City Shuttle Stop up by Boat Launch 2. That's near the start of the race upstream. There's plenty of food options for dinner from our local vendors. Our food trucks will be here until 9 p.m. tonight, so you've got a few more hours. So check out the food trucks up near the shuttle stop, up by Boat Launch 2, which is near the start of our events.
Live streaming of the U.S. Rowing 2019 Masters National Championships on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel, continuing with another race in the Women's Open fours without. That's the Open 4 without Coxon. We have a lineup of Minneapolis here in the E category, I should add. Minneapolis in lane 1, Upper Valley lane 2, Chinook B in lane 3, Catawba in lane 4, Nashville in lane 5. A 5-boat race in the E category for the Women's Open Straight 4s. And as a few raindrops begin to fall here at the 750-meter mark of this 1,000-meter course, it does look like it's the boat from
Upper Valley.
Upper Valley that's out in the lead again. We've seen some fast Upper Valley boats in this competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Second looks to be in lane 4, Catawba. Followed by Chinook B in lane 3, Nashville in lane 5, and Minneapolis in lane 1.
Upper Valley looking very strong here in the E category of the Women's Open Straight 4s. Boat length lead, a little bit of open water over the second place boat. That does belong to Catawba. The Chinook B boat in third right now. Then it's Nashville and Minneapolis in that order. It does look like Chinook B and Catawba are beginning to battle. The Chinook B boat beginning to make a little bit of a move on that boat from Catawba.
Upper Valley holding a strong lead in lane 2. A little over a boat length of open water between Upper Valley and second place. Just got to stay the straight and narrow to take the gold. You see Upper Valley there in lane 2, followed by Catawba in lane 4.
See if Catawba can respond to the charge from Chinook as they head towards the finish line. But boy, Upper Valley looking very strong. Smooth and coordinated, winning the gold medal in the Women's Open 4 without final. At the finish line, it looks like Catawba outlasted the Chinook B boat and will get second. Chinook B in third, then Nashville in fourth, the Minneapolis boat in fifth in the Women's Open 4 Straight 4 final in the E category.
That Chinook B boat, quite a charge at the end. It just missed out on second by a few feet, taking the bronze.
500 meters into the Women's Open Straight 4 F plus category race with Vesper and Chinook battling it out in lanes 1 and 2 respectively. They are neck and neck at the 500 meter mark. Chinook might have a slight advantage over that Vesper composite. San Diego is in lane 3, Chinook D in lane 4, Chinook E in lane 5, and they are having some steering issues over there on the far side of the course as I see a boat coming straight towards me on this shore as they make a correction in their navigation there in that Chinook D boat in lane 5. But out in front it is the Chinook C boat battling with the Vesper boat as they continue through the third 250 of this race.
A little bit of rain, a little bit of wind, creating a little bit of havoc for these straight 4s.
Of course, the only thing that keep rowers from rowing is a lot of wind or lightning, and a little bit of rain just helps cool you off and helps you row faster. Speaking of rowing faster, it is that Vesper composite boat that's beginning to make up some ground on Chinook C as they cross 750 meters. It is now Vesper just about a half a boat length behind that Chinook C boat. Then it's back to San Diego. Then the two other Chinook boats, Chinook D in lane 5 and Chinook E in lane 4, Chinook D, lane 5, Chinook E, as they're going by. But out front, really, that Vesper boat beginning to make up ground and maybe passing that Chinook C boat right now. Really looking powerful as they started to accelerate through the 750 meter mark. And indeed, Chinook in the lead. Vesper in the lead with Chinook trying to catch up, and now Chinook is picking it up. See a glance from their stroke. She picks up the pace, trying to make up some ground on that charge from Vesper.
Just 50 meters from the finish now. Last chance for the gold.
Vesper with a big charge, crossing the line first, winning the Women's Open Straight 4 F category final. Chinook C having to settle for second. Some disappointment on their face, you could see as they crossed over. San Diego will be in third.
In lane 4, we have Chinook D, and in lane 5, Chinook E.
Row America is the presenting sponsor today of this live streaming of the U.S. Rowing 2019 Masters National Championship. At Row America, we're passionate about rowing. We're energized about growing and nurturing our sport from the bottom up. We've seen firsthand the positive transformation it's had on thousands of young individuals, and the goal is to amplify that impact. Row America is driven by a desire to support, promote, and expand the sport of rowing. Together we can grow the sport of rowing. Come join us at rowamerica.com to learn more.
Charging down the course now. 2/3 of the way in is the Men's Club 4 in the E category. In lane 1, Texas. In lane 2, Riverfront. In lane 3, 612 Endurance. In lane 4, Greenwich. In lane 5, San Diego. And in lane 6, Western Reserve.
It is Greenwich out in front by a boat length over that boat from Western Reserve. Then Riverfront Recapture and 612 Endurance battling for third. But boy, what a move right now as that Greenwich boat is flying down the course here in the Men's Club 4's E category final. Very dominant here. Greenwich boat continuing to lead over Western Reserve. And kicking it up and making very smooth, very clean, both on the catch and recovery. The boat from Greenwich looking fine. At the line, winning the gold in the Men's Club 4's, Western Reserve in second. 612 Endurance in third, being chased by Riverfront Recapture. Then it's San Diego and Texas Center. women's lightweight doubles final in the C category underway right now, with Georgian Bay's Talbot and Stoutenberg in the lead, approaching the halfway mark.
Our lineup for this event, the women's lightweight double. In lane 1, Holland and Berman from Austin. In lane 2, Higgins and Raynard from Riverside. Lane 3, Walhart and Abbott from Chinook. Lane 4, Talbot and Stoutenberg from Georgian Bay. And in lane 5, Rice, Narush, and Ronhar from Everett.
Georgian Bay looking very strong here. The women's lightweight doubles C category, the 43 to 49 age range. They are out with a couple of boat lengths of open water. That battle for second and third really shaping up behind them with Riverside's Chinook and Everett Association. They just keep moving forward there. The Georgian Bay boat, a Talbot and Stoutenberg, 750 meters, and they have probably 3, if not 4, boat lengths of open water lead. In the meantime, Higgins and Raynard from Riverside are really trying to put on a charge, catch up with Walhart and Abbott from Chinook, and they are passing them as they hit that 750 meter mark, and they're also passing the second place boat of the Everett Association. So watch out for Higgins and Raynard of Riverside now pulling into second place and taking advantage of Chinook and the Everett Association. We'll see if Riverside can hold on as they continue to go on by. Talbot and Stoutenberg from Georgian Bay in the women's lightweight doubles final, looking mean in their gold medal final as they are way out in front. A good clean row from beginning to end, just accelerating and crossing the line for the gold medal.
In lane 2, crossing in second, is Higgins and Raynard in Riverside, and a tight battle for third between Chinook and Everett. Heading down the course now.
There goes Austin crossing the line in the lightweight doubles.
The men's lightweight double in the H through K categories.
K? There's a K category, Rob?
There is a K category. No, there's not. There's not a K category.
I'm making fun of you. So
Well,
if I work out my math right, I is 75 to 79, J would be 80 to 84.
I think we're looking at H to I.
K would be...
I think this is H to I, is what this should be.
H to I.
The men's lightweight H to I double. In lane 2, Miller and Cook from Cincinnati Composite. In lane 3, Spurway and Kane, Union Composite. And in lane 4, Sutliff and Cox from Potomac.
And it is that Cincinnati Composite out in the lead. I know the stroke there. R. Miller won a gold yesterday, I believe, in a double. So obviously very much in the hunt for another to add to the collection as they cross 750, out in front by about 3 boat lengths. Over the Union Composite, who are about 3 or 4 boat lengths over the Potomac boat in lane 4. Lightweight double final. Lane 2, Miller and Cook in the Cincinnati Composite. out in front, holding on over Spurway and Kane Jr. from the Union Composite. Miller and Cook just really dominating this race. There they go, winning the gold in the men's lightweight doubles H through I final.
Followed in lane 3 by Spurway and Kane, Union Composite. And now approaching the finish in lane 4, Sutliff and Cox from Potomac. Now crossing the midway part of the course, the women's lightweight single in the F category. We have a whole series of events here coming up. Women's singles events, all lightweight in ever-increasing categories. We'll start with the F category. In lane 1, Nancy Acosta from Rocky Mountain. In lane 2, Lisa Roth, San Diego. In lane 3, Terry Walters from Chinook. In lane 4, Rebecca Miller, Minneapolis. In lane 5, Fran Toot from Lincoln Park. And in lane 6, Terry Boston from Y Quad Cities.
Few raindrops again, but not really a shower. I wouldn't call it a shower here, Rob. Just a few random raindrops, so nothing that is going to hinder the competition at all. There was a chance for some scattered showers this afternoon in the forecast. We were hoping to make it through without any, but we'll take a few, just not too many, please.
Right now, the thunder is not forecast to hit until about 10 p.m., so cross your fingers, it'll stay that way, and we'll be able to finish up today's finals before we see any adverse weather.
A battle here. This race between lanes 3 and 5, that's Terry Walters of Chinook and Fran Tweet from Lincoln Park. They are very, very close to each other in the battle for the gold here in this race. Terry Boston from Y Quad Cities in third right now. Rebecca Miller from Minneapolis trying to chase her down. San Diego's Lisa Roth. Nancy Acosta from Rocky Mountain also in this race, but out front, Terry Walters from Chinook and Fran Tweet from Lincoln Park going head-to-head in lanes 3 and 5. Big pulls from Terry Walters of Chinook as they are coming closer to the finish line. She may have the advantage over Tweet from Lincoln Park. And actually, it is Lincoln Park, it looks like, crossing the line ahead of the boat from Chinook. But we'll let the Here Now people sort that out. See who gets the gold in the women's lightweight single final in the F category. Meantime, third will belong to Y Quad Cities, Terry Boston. And Rebecca Miller of Minneapolis crossing the line. Lisa Roth of San Diego. After that, and Nancy Acosta of Rocky Mountain.
Moving up to our next stage category in the women's lightweight singles. This is the G category. Now crossing the midway part of the race in lane 2, Tara Levin from Lincoln Park. In lane 3, Laura Sturton from Austin. Laura Sturton Austin from PCRA. In lane 4, Catherine Runyon from North Cascades. And in lane 5, Ginny Calvin from Conabear.
G category here, 65 to 69, and as they move past that halfway point, advantage is in lane 3, Laura Sturton of PCRA, or Laura Sturton Alt, excuse me. Tara Levin of Lincoln Park trailing the field, but it's Laura Sturton Catherine Runyon and Jenny Calvin, 1, 2, 3 in this women's lightweight single G category final. At 750, Certain Oust from PCRA does have open water advantage over the second place boat, the Catherine Runyon from North Cascades. Jenny Calvin from Conabear in third, and then Tara Levin from Lincoln Park in fourth. Again, thanks to our presenting sponsor, Row America. At Row America, we're passionate about rowing. We're energized about growing and nurturing our sport from the bottom up. We've seen firsthand the positive transformation it's had on thousands of young individuals, and our goal is to amplify that impact. Row America, driven by a desire to support, promote, and expand the sport of rowing. Together, we can grow the sport of rowing. Come join us at rowamerica.com to learn more.
Now continue our progression through the women's lightweight singles. Now we've reached the H category.
It is Laura Sturton-Oust from PCRA crossing in first in the G category. Catherine Runyon from North Cascades in second in lane 4. Jenny Colvin from Conabear in third in lane 5. Tara Levin from Lincoln Park, fourth in lane 2.
Now on to the H category, about 250 meters down the course. In lane 2, Carol Graybeal from Central Pennsylvania. In lane 3, Mary Jane Worster from Colorado. In lane 4, Barbara Hogan from Vesper. And in lane 5, Kwika Ostrander from Central Pennsylvania. The women's lightweight singles in the H category.
2 Central Pennsylvania boats in this gold medal final, rowing out of Sunbury, Pennsylvania on the Susquehanna River, Central Pennsylvania Rowing Association. As we watch them approach the halfway point here, as you are watching live streaming of the U.S. Rowing 2019 Masters National Championship from Grand Rapids, Michigan, on the Grand River here at Riverfront Park in the great city of Grand Rapids. I'm Mark Brazell here with Rob Shea. I know, Rob, you have to depart. It's been great having you this afternoon. Look forward for you returning tomorrow for more finals.
Thanks, Mark. It's been a fantastic day of rowing, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results today and being here for the rest of this fantastic regatta, Masters Nationals, for the next 2 days. Wonderful 4-day event. It's been a pleasure.
We will start streaming the finals again tomorrow afternoon when they begin. You can check the schedule on herenow.com. May want to do that. I think tomorrow will probably be on schedule. Today's schedule was an hour off due to heavy fog or dense fog this morning. So
are you predicting the weather now? Is that what you're doing?
I am predicting the weather. I'm not a meteorologist, nor do I play one on the television. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping for great regatta weather tomorrow.
It's wishful thinking is what we're going to go for.
And we'll see. You know, who knows? I'll look out the window tomorrow and tell you what the weather is. How's that? So we are watching Kwika Ostrander from Central Pennsylvania lead this race in the H category right now, and a big push from Mary Jane Worster of Colorado, pulling into second right now over Barbara Hogan of Vesper. Meanwhile, Carol Graybeal from Central Pennsylvania is also in the hunt and right there behind him at the 750-meter mark. It is Mary Jane Worster of Colorado on the move right now, having taken second place over from Barbara Hogan of Vesper, but still in the lead, Kwika Ostrander from Central Pennsylvania in lane 5.
I want to hear some noise, Riverside Park. Let's cheer these competitors on as they approach the finish line in the women's lightweight single in the H category.
Kwika Ostrander glancing to her right to check out the competition as she confidently is rowing towards the finish line in the gold medal here in the H category for the women's lightweight singles. But Mary Jane Worster of Colorado really has picked up her pace and is trying to chase Ostrander down here as they approach the finish. Looks like Worcester might have a little extra speed as they come in, digging a little deeper, and right at the end, it is Mary Jane Worcester of Colorado. It looks like she just barely edged out Quika Ostrander from Central Pennsylvania, Barbara Hogan from Vesper crossing in third, Carol Graybeal of Central Pennsylvania in fourth there in the women's lightweight singles H category final. Which leaves in the progression there, Rob. Before you go, I'll let you introduce the last race here.
I cannot leave before I introduce this race. This is going to be fantastic. So up next, in the fourth of our progression through the women's lightweight singles, is the women's lightweight single in the I category. Of course, our I category features rowers young enough to participate.
There you go.
In lane 3, Diane Ziff from Whistler. In lane 4, Janice Stone from Pocock. And in lane 5, Sunny McLean from Miami.
Another Canadian entry there. Our neighbor to the north from Whistler.
I know everybody here in Riverside Park wants to be in this event someday. So get up to the shoreline and cheer these athletes on.
Does look like Sunny McLean from Miami has a bit of an advantage right now over second place Janice Stone of Pocock as they move towards the 750 meter mark. With Diane Ziff of Whistler, from Whistler, British Columbia, Canada, making the trip to Michigan here to row in the Masters National Championship.
I think we have a battle here.
We do. We saw a battle in the last race where Mary Jane Worcester from Colorado came back to catch Quika Ostrander from Central Pennsylvania. We'll see if the same happens here, because here comes Janice Stone of Pocock making up some water and passing Sunny McLean of Miami, who was leading at the 500 meter mark. And now 250 meters later, it is Janice Stone of Pocock with about a half a boat length lead. Diane Ziff from Whistler still racing in third here in this race. And now it does look like Janice Stone of Pocock at 750 meters has about a boat length advantage over Sunny McLean of Miami. Pocock, of course, a famous name in rowing, based in Seattle, Washington, named after a great boat builder and very insightful rower, George Pocock. Many folks introduced to him through The Boys in the Boat by Daniel Brown. But boy, nice move there just before the 750 meter mark for Janice Stone of Pocock. And she has taken the lead here in the women's lightweight singles I category final.
Janice Stone, 79 years young and crushing this 1,000-meter course.
Crossing the line and winning, Janice Stone of Pocock. Sunny McLean of Miami in second. Then there in the women's lightweight singles final. And Diane Ziff of Whistler in third. Wow, we go back to the 750 meter mark for the race in the men's open pairs final F category, with Schofield and Broder of New Haven in first, with D'Souza and Fountain from Everett, and Buscioshino and Seabach from Chinook battling for second right behind them. It does look good for Schofield and Broder. They're about a boat length ahead of those other two. Also in this race in lane 1, Matheson and Verton from SAC, Morshauser and Anderson from Dallas in lane 2. Then we have Peschel and Massman from Mount Baker in lane 6 in this race for the F category in the men's open pairs. But it is Schofield and Broder from New Haven stroking towards a gold medal. And the open pairs crossing the line first with several boat lengths of open water. Second place, it looks like it will be Chinooks, Bociaciano, and Seabach, followed by D'Souza and Fountain from the Ebert Association in third. Morshauser and Anderson from Dallas in fourth. Matheson and Verdon from SAC in fifth. And Paschal and Massman from Mount Baker in sixth. Fast and furious in the finals on the second day of finals at the 2019 Masters National Championships. The women's lightweight singles in the D category final. Now back to the younger folk, the 50 to 54 age range. Cici Aguda from Whitby in lane 1. We have Christine Flowers from SAC in lane 2. Dawn Arengas from Vesper in lane 3. Rebecca Hollins from Capital in lane 4. Kimberly Weinberg from Austin in lane 6. And we see the battle right now out in front in first and second. And that is Rebecca Hollins from Capital in second, trying to track down Dawn Arengas from Vesper, who's in first here at about 600 meters in. Then it's back to Rebecca Hollins from Capital, Weinberg from Austin, and Aguda from Whitby. Flowers from SAC in third right now. Then Cici Aguda from Whitby and Weinberg from Austin, but at 750 meters it is still Vesper's Dawn Arengas in the lead, with Rebecca Hollins of Capital in second. We'll see if Hollins from Capital can pour it on in these final meters, try to catch up with Arengas from Vesper. Third still being held by Christine Flowers from SAC. But that famous V for Vesper on the back of Dawn Arengas, heading towards a finish and a gold medal in the women's lightweight singles final here, the Masters National Championships. Crosses the line for the gold, and Rebecca Hollins from Capital in second. Dawn Arengas from Vesper getting the gold in the women's lightweight singles D category final. Christine Flowers from SAC in third. Then Cici Aguda from Whitby fourth. Weinberg in fifth. We're going back to the lightweight doubles final in the D category. We are watching them race towards a 750 meter mark. 750 meters in. Berthold and Gagliano from Greater Columbus in the lead here. The men's lightweight doubles D final. They're just ahead of Trocchi and Cutler from Malta. Then it's Bozensky and Briggs from Greater Columbus, their teammates right beside them. Johnson and Alfano from 612 Endurance in fourth right now. Haslam and Saylor from Riverfront Recapture behind that. And Watt and Gold from Three Rivers. Watt and Gold from Three Rivers in fifth right now. But Out in front, Berthold and Gagliano of Greater Columbus. But right now in the hunt, Bozensky and Briggs, their teammates from Greater Columbus, beginning to make up ground and beginning to catch up with them. Johnson and Alfano from 612 Endurance in third, but about a boat length back from those front two. Greater Columbus boats battling here in the men's lightweight doubles final. As they come down to the line, it is Greater Columbus with the gold and maybe the silver too. We'll have to wait and see how that shakes out. Trocchi and Cutler from Malta were right there. Then it's Watt and Gold of Three Rivers Crossing. No, now Watt. That was Johnson and Alfano with 612 Endurance crossing in fourth. Watt and Gold from Three Rivers crossing in fifth. That will leave Asselman Sailor of Riverfront Recapture in sixth. So back to the women's lightweight double final in the B category. The 36 to 42 age group. Slater and Stowers of Greater Columbus in lane 1. Tran and Bryan from Potomac in lane 2. Maxwell and Clark from Greater Houston in lane 3. Talbot and Stoutenburg from Georgia Bay in lane 4. Noha and Harris from Minneapolis in lane 5. The lightweight doubles B final, and right now it is Maxwell and Clark of Greater Houston Composite out in the lead with Minneapolis in second, and Talbot and Stoutenburg from Georgia Bay in third. Talbot and Stoutenburg from Georgian Bay had been racing just recently. Then it's back to Tran and Bryan from Potomac. They are in fifth, battling with Slater and Stowers from Greater Columbus. But out front, Maxwell and Clark of the Greater Houston Composite. Big push from Talbot and Stoutenburg of Georgian Bay, beginning to catch up with Maxwell and Clark of Greater Houston. Noha and Harris from Minneapolis right there with them, but the Georgian Bay boat on the move as they come down to the finish line. See if they can catch up with the Greater Houston boat, looking for the gold in the women's lightweight double B category. Big pull from Houston, trying to stay ahead of the boat from Georgian Bay. At the finish line, it is the Greater Houston Composite of Maxwell and Clark winning, with Talbot and Stoutenburg from Georgia Bay in second, Noha and Harris from Minneapolis in third. And then that battle between Tran and Bryan of Potomac and Slater and Stowers of Greater Columbus coming to the line. And it is the Potomac boat crossing first and the Greater Columbus boat second. Finals Friday at the Masters National Championships, continuing after a word from our sponsors. Live streaming of the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel of the Masters National Championships for 2019 here from Grand Rapids, Michigan, on the Grand River at Riverfront Park. I'm Mark Purcell calling these races right now with the men's lightweight double final, the B category. 4 boats in this race, and quite a race between 3 of those right now. Arcangeli Alchagra from Austin in lane 1, Near McMahon from Riverfront Recapture in lane 2, Galvanek and Doyle from Sarasota Composite in lane 4, and Lay and Santala from San Diego in lane 5. And it is right now a battle in front of the Riverfront Recapture and Sarasota Composite, with the San Diego boat right there with them. It's Austin off the pace by about 3 boat lengths, but really Riverfront Recapture pouring it on here as they are about 100 meters from the finish, and they have begun to pull away from Galvanic and Doyle, the Sarasota composite. It's Neer and McMahon from Riverfront Recapture, now almost a boat length ahead as they head towards the finish line for the men's lightweight double B category final. They are a boat length ahead of the boat from Sarasota, with San Diego in third at the moment. And what a powerful move from Riverfront Recapture as they move through 750. They were right there with them, but crossing the line for the gold in the men's lightweight double B final. That was quite a performance from the Riverfront Recapture boat of Neer and McMahon. You can see the effort on their face. And these shells are flying down this course this afternoon, with the women's open pairs final in the double A category underway. Neal and O'Connell from CRI are rowing in lane 2. Zappel and Sage from Lincoln Park in lane 3. Belza and Smith from San Diego in lane 4. And Sandra O'Brien from St. Louis in lane 5. And the women's open pairs final here at the Masters National Championships. Looks like St. Louis out ahead at the halfway mark. Lincoln Park and San Diego. Lincoln Park advantage over San Diego right now. CRI looking strong as well, but really the strongest, Sonder and O'Brien from St. Louis. Sonder and O'Brien from St. Louis, the double A women's open pair final. Very strong double, really almost a double boat length of open water over the second place fight that's developing between Zappel and Sage of Lincoln Park and Belza and Smith of San Diego. But St. Louis very, very dominant here in this race. Battle for the silver here in the open pair final, developing between San Diego and Lincoln Park, while St. Louis continues to dominate. CRI off the pace in fourth right now, but out in front, Sonder and O'Brien of St. Louis. Now the double A, the youngest of the rowers here today. But attention all octogenarian rowers, please join us tomorrow at 1 o'clock at the award stage for a celebration of your dedication and tenure in our sport. We'd like to capture this momentous occasion by having all the octogenarians come together for a joint photograph. That's 1 o'clock tomorrow. All octogenarian rowers, please show up at the award stage. There is Sonder and O'Brien of St. Louis winning the gold in the women's open pair double A final. Plenty of open water behind them, as second place will belong to Belza and Smith of San Diego. Zappel and Sage from Lincoln Park will be in third, and Neal and O'Connor of CRI in fourth. We go back up for the women's open pairs A final. Boston and Derbinsky of San Diego in lane 1. Foster and Howard of St. Louis in lane 2. Summers and Cuddy of Riverside lane 3. Riley and Farrell of Zlack in lane 4, Shredders and Hawthorne of Lincoln Park in lane 5, and Kyle and Oliveira from CRI in lane 6. And it is the women of Zlack who are in the lead. Zlack Rowing Club out of San Diego. If you're wondering where Zlack came from, so did I, but I was told. Zlack's the first initials of the 4 women who founded the club back in 1892. The oldest continually operating women's rowing club, they claim, in the world. You can see Riley and Farrell from Zlack right there in lane 4 with about a boat length lead over the rest of the pack here in the women's open pairs final in the A category. Second, a battle right now between Shredders and Hawthorne of Lincoln Park and Kyle and Oliveira of CRI. Then it's back to Summers and Cuddy of Riverside, Boston and Draminsky of San Diego, and Foster and Howard of St. Louis. 750 meters, the ladies of Zlak in the lead by about a boat length, but being threatened as the boat from CRI of Kyle and Oliveira, now in second, is right in their slack, right in their stern of the Zlak boat. And Hawthorne and the Shredders of Lincoln Park right there in third and with them. Zlak still in the lead in the women's open pairs final, A category. The CRI boat of Kyle and Oliveira trying to track them down as Shredders and Hawthorne of Lincoln Park continue to pursue as well. Really pouring it on, coming down to the finish line. But Zlak looking very strong in lane 4. Big push now from Lincoln Park. Lincoln Park trying to close the gap with CRI, but Zlak, CRI, Lincoln Park in that order in the women's open pairs final in the A category. So we move back up the water for the men's open AA double final. Kimber and McDonough from Texas Center in lane 1. Rogers and Petershagen from Everett Association in lane 2. Lawrence Chazen and Rosenbaum from Lincoln Park in lane 3. Gorbenikoff and Samambo from oh boy, Rob would kick me. Leelanau in lane 4. Brown and McGuire, Greater Columbus, lane 5. Sanchez Matisse from Texas Center in lane 6. And it is that boat in lane 6 chasing Greater Columbus right now as they are in the lead. The Greater Columbus boat of Brown and McGuire in the lead over Texas Center. Then it is Lake Leelanau's Gremnikoff and Samambo who are battling with the Everett Association's Rogers and Petershagen. Brown and McGuire of Greater Columbus in the lead here at 750 meters. Sanchez and Matisse from Texas Center right on their rear, about 10 feet back. Meanwhile, Gorbenikoff and Samambo from Lake Leelanau right there in third, but look at the race with the Everett Association. 3 boats for second lining up right now. Everett Association, Lake Leelanau, and Texas Center right there for second. A big battle here in the men's open doubles final and AA category. Brown and McGuire from Greater Columbus picking up the stroke rate. Let's see who among the second place boats can pick up that rate and catch up with them too. Down to the line for the gold. Brown and McGuire, Greater Columbus. Lake Leelanau looks like they captured second. Everett may have eased over Texas Center for third right there. Then we have Lincoln Park and the other Texas Center boat crossing the line. Exciting finish in the final here in the men's open doubles AA final. We'll continue the competition in the finals after a message from our sponsors.
Beaches and beyond.
Live streaming on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel of the 2019 Masters National Championships. We're in Grand Rapids, Michigan on the Grand River at Riverside Park in beautiful Grand Rapids as we are watching the next of the finals coming down the course, the women's lightweight doubles. Lane 1 from Minneapolis, Brooks and Pezic. Lane 2 from Greater Columbus with Sluzel and Rodenfels. Davis and Durno from Saugatuck in lane 3. McBlain and Packett from Carnegie Lake Composite in lane 4. Hunt and Lamb from Chinook in lane 5, and Narvis and Middleford from Mendota in lane 6 in the women's lightweight doubles E category final. Before we catch up and see how everyone's doing, again, a reminder that octogenarian rowers are invited to join us tomorrow at 1 on the award stage for a celebration of your dedication and tenure in our sport. We'd like to capture this momentous occasion by having you all come together for a joint photograph. So all octogenarian rowers, that's 80 plus, please come to the awards stage tomorrow at 1 o'clock for a celebration of your dedication and tenure in this sport. And remember, if you're feeling hungry, the Friday night food trucks are here in Grand Rapids are up at boat launch number 2. That's up near the start. You can catch a shuttle, go up there, get a bite to eat. A bunch of food trucks at the boat launch number 2 here in Riverfront Park. A regular occurrence during the summer, the Friday night food trucks. The familiar blue of Chinook out in the lead here. Chinook and Mendota side by side, 1 and 2 in that order. Then it's a Saugatuck, the Carnegie Lake Composite, Minneapolis, and Greater Columbus in that order as they approach the 750-meter mark. And it is the Mendota just about a half a boat length behind that Chinook boat. Meanwhile, Saugatuck beginning to make a move. I see Chinook just picking up their pace as they see and sense a bit of a threat from Mendota, and Mendota matching that acceleration as well. Saugatuck still keeping up with them. Then back to the Carnegie Lake Composite. The women's lightweight double final on the water. Approaching the finish line. Chinook really pulling out. They were about a half a boat length ahead after a big acceleration. They now have a full boat length over Mendota. Mendota sticking with them, clinging to second as they come to the finish line in the women's lightweight doubles E category final. It's Hunt and Lamb of Chinook crossing first, then Jarvis and Middleford from Mendota in second. Saugatuck's Davis and Durno will come in third, followed by the Carnegie Lake Composite of McBlain and Packett. Then we'll have Minneapolis, Brooks and Pazek, and Wilslusel and Rodenfels from Greater Columbus in that order. The women's lightweight doubles E category final. Now to the F category in the mixed fours. Working their way down the course right now towards the halfway mark. It appears that another Chinook boat in the lead. The mixed fours final in the F category here. Lineup in lane 1, Rock Creek Composite. Greater Columbus is in lane 2. Avalon Composite in lane 3. The boat leading from Chinook right now is in lane 4. In lane 5 is the New Haven Composite, and in lane 6, Western Reserve. Chinook in the lead, New Haven Composite not far behind. Neither is the Rock Creek Composite. Rock Creek Rowing, practicing on the Potomac River. They're outside of Washington, D.C. They have 26 entries in the Masters National Championships here for 2019. Good to go from the humid, swampy weather of Washington, D.C. up here to the beautiful weather of Western Michigan for the Masters Nationals. Looking down into the Chinook boat, the one that's in the lead right now here in the mixed fours. They have a boat length over the New Haven composite. Western Reserve in third for the moment, but the Avalon composite is right there with them. But at 750, it's Chinook in the lead. New Haven composite in second. Third will be Western Reserve. With fourth, the Avalon composite. Fifth, the Rock Creek composite, and sixth, the Greater Columbus composite here in the mixed fours. Very strong showing from Chinook. I haven't checked on the Team Cup points, but I know I have been saying Chinook quite a bit, so high degree of likelihood they are in the lead, and they are in the lead right now by a boat length over the New Haven composite here in the mixed fours F category final. They cross the line first. New Haven is in second. And a battle for third right now. Oh, very tight between Western Reserve and the Avalon composite. The Avalon composite coming from behind, catching up with Western Reserve right at the line. Very close call. We'll have to wait and see how that straightens up. And it's the Rock Creek composite, followed by Greater Columbus. The mixed fours final in the F category here at the National Championships for the Masters, where we will continue the final coverage here, live streaming on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel after a break. Grand River in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The Masters National Championships underway as we go racing for the mixed four final in the G category, the 65 to 69. It looks like Conabear Composite in the lead by a boat length right now over Chinook B. Then third place is the Chinook D boat. Then there's Three Rivers, Boulder, and San Diego. The lineup is San Diego in lane 1, Boulder lane 2, Chinook B in lane 3, Conabear Composite lane 4, Three Rivers in lane 5, and Chinook D in lane 6. Conabear Composite lane 4 in the lead by a boat length over the Chinook B boat there in the center of the course as they approach the halfway point. Battle for third there on the far side of the course. Three Rivers and Chinook D. Chinook D in the lead, but only by about a third of a boat length. Conabear, though, out ahead of Chinook by a boat length. Conabear in first, Chinook in second. That battle for third on the far side. Then the battle for fourth between San Diego and Boulder on the near side of the course. Conabear Composite still out front. Chinook B beginning to slip slightly as the Three Rivers and Chinook D boats try to move up and catch up with them. Those two boats, the Three Rivers and Chinook, have been battling, and they've been pulling each other down the course, and they've caught up with the second place book of Chinook B. But at 750 meters with about a boat length of open water, it is the Conabear Composite in lane 4 in the lead in the mixed four final in the G category. Chinook B still in second place, but being threatened right now by both Three Rivers and Chinook D. Those two boats, lanes 5 and 6, side by side. It's still a battle between Boulder and San Diego too, but the Kona Bear boat, Kona Bear Composite there in lane 4, has been in the lead the entire way and holding on. Rowing out of Seattle, Washington, the Kona Bear Rowing Club, bringing 13 entries this year. Here, stroking towards the gold in the mixed 4 final in the G category. Chinook B holds on for second. Kona Bear with the win. Chinook B in second. The battle between Three Rivers and Chinook D. I blinked and missed that one. And it does look like San Diego just beats Boulder at the line there at the end in the mixed 4s G category final. Meanwhile, 500 meters back up the course is the mixed 4 final for H plus, 70 plus. Chinook C, Vesper Composite are the boats racing in this battle. And again, the blue of Chinook out in front by about a boat length at the 500 meter mark over the Vesper Composite. Vesper Composite, average age of 80 in this race. Chinook C, 70. So the Chinook boat's a category H and the Vesper Composite a category J. But holding their own there through the halfway point is Vesper, but Chinook still leading. Chinook beginning to widen their lead slightly. They hit 750 meters, just 250 to go. They have a boat length and a half over the Vesper boat here in the mixed 4H category final. Sun glinting off the water here at the Grand River. Swinging around to the west and beginning to drop. Again, the competition starting about an hour late this morning due to some dense fog here on the Grand River, but things cleared off very quickly, and racing got underway and continues here on the Grand River. The Chinook Sea boat looking for the gold in the mixed 4s. Sprinting towards the finish and the gold. And crossing the line. The mixed 4s with the Vesper Composite in lane 4, crossing in second here at the Masters National Championships. Congratulations to those boats. The women's open singles in the G category next. Susan Michaels of 612 Endurance in lane 1. Catherine Widgery of Riverside in lane 2. Barbara Jones Cambridge in lane 3. Cinda Grobard from Chinook in lane 4. Sally Sentner from 612 Endurance in lane 5. And Catherine Runyon from North Cascades in lane 6. They're already nearing the 750-meter mark. And it is Chinook's Cinda Grobert who is in the lead. Has a substantial lead over the second place boat from Riverside of Catherine Ridgery. Then at 6:12 Endurance's Sally Sentner, being chased by Catherine Runyon of North Cascades. Susan Michaels from 6:12 Endurance. And Barbara Jones of Cambridge back there. But out in front, Chinook's Cinda Grobert with quite a lead as she continues to outpace the field. And Chinook gets another gold with Cinda Grobert crossing for the gold in the women's open singles G category final. It is Catherine Widgery of Riverside in second, and a race for third. A little bit of a bobble there from Sally Sentner of 6:12 Endurance allows Catherine Runyon of the North Cascades to take third. Sentner, 6:12 Endurance, in fourth. I'd like to thank again our presenting sponsor, Row America. At Row America, we're passionate about rowing. We're energized about growing and nurturing our sport from the bottom up. We've seen firsthand the positive transformation it's had on thousands of young individuals, and our goal is to amplify that impact. Row America, driven by a desire to support, promote, and expand the sport of rowing. Together we can grow the sport of rowing. Come join us at rowamerica.com to learn more. Here we are with the Open singles in the H category for the women. Christina Lund from Minneapolis in lane 2. Mary Neary from North Cascades in lane 3. Linda Berry, OKC Riversport in lane 4. Barbara Hogan of Vesper in lane 5. And the green of Minneapolis out in the lead right now. Christina Lund in the lead with, it appears, Barbara Hogan of Vesper right now in second. And Linda Berry from OKC Riversport in third. That would means Linda Berry from OKC Riversport, in fourth. But out in front at 750 meters into this 1,000-meter race, it is Christina Lund of Minneapolis. Barbara Hogan of Vespers in second right now. Mary Neary of North Cascades in third. And Linda Berry of OKC Riversport in fourth. Vespers Barbara Hogan trying to catch up with Christina Lund of Minneapolis. But Lund is really putting on a clinic, as a friend of mine from Minneapolis would say. Into her sprint and towards the finish line, Christina Lund of Minneapolis in the women's open single final in the H category, stroking to a win and a gold medal. She crosses the line with a substantial lead. Barbara Hogan from Vesper in second. And it looks like Linda Berry of OKC River Sport with a big sprint at the end, passing Mary Neary of North Cascades. So Linda Berry will get third, Mary Neary of North Cascades fourth in the women's open singles in the H category. We'll be back with more coverage of the Masters National Championships after a word from our sponsors. Masters National Championships for 2019 from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Streaming live on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel as we return to the finals. I'm Mark Purcell here. We're watching the women's open singles I+ finals, that's 75 and above, with Jenna Stone of Pocock, Barbara O'Neill of Greenwich, and Diane Ziff of Whistler Racing. And it is an advantage right now to lane number 2, Jenna Stone of Pocock, who raced not so long ago. Barbara O'Neill of Greenwich in lane 3, also racing with Diane Ziff of Whistler. Right now it is Ziff of Whistler in second place, and O'Neill of Greenwich in third here in the women's open I+ category. Stone of Pocock, the one with the most experience birthday-wise in this race. Diane Ziff of Whistler, the second. As things come into focus at the finish line, Jenna Stone of Pocock crossing first, looking hardly winded. Diane Ziff of Whistler crossing second. And Barbara O'Neill of Greenwich rowing in the final 250. The familiar fluorescent of Greenwich there rowing. Attention all octogenarian rowers, please join us tomorrow at 1 for the award stage. At the award stage, we want to capture the momentous occasion and celebrate your dedication and tenure in our sport. So please, if you're an octogenarian or no one, get them to the award stage at 1 o'clock to celebrate with a joint photograph for the octogenarians of here at the 2019 Masters Nationals Rowing Championship. Barbara O'Neill from Greenwich crossing the finish line there in the Women's Open H Singles I+. back up the race course, it's the men's open quad final in the G category with Rockford Composite in the lead over Duluth right now. Palm Beach Composite in third, Texas Center in fourth, Nashville Composite in fifth as they head towards the finish line. It is the Rockford Composite in lane 5 winning the gold, followed by Duluth for the silver in lane 2. The Palm Beach Composite does hold on for third place, Texas Center for fourth. That leaves Nashville in fifth in the men's open quads G final. If Now for the men's open quad final, San Diego and the Colorado Composite competing here. Lane 3 is San Diego, lane 4 the Colorado Composite. We're watching the men's open quads. Is San Diego in the lead over the Colorado Composite, the H plus category. That's 70 and above as they are coming down. The average age of the boats. Colorado Composite, again, the more experienced when it comes to blowing out birthday candles in this race. Average age of 80, 71 for the San Diego boat. At 750, it is the San Diego boat in the lead. A reminder again for all the octogenarian rowers that we invite you to join us tomorrow at 1 o'clock at the awards stage for a celebration of your dedication and tenure in the sport. I'd like to capture this momentous occasion by having you all come together for a joint photograph. So as long as you're not out there trying to win a gold medal, if you're an octogenarian rower, please show up at the awards stage tomorrow at 1 o'clock. San Diego showing fine form here in the open quad, men's open quad final for the H plus category. Great technique at work here. Colorado Composite chasing them down. And San Diego crossing the line to win the men's open quad final in the H plus category. Fine row there. Here comes the Colorado Composite to the line as a flurry of ducks land right at the finish line to welcome them. Colorado crossing the line there in the men's open quads. The women's open singles in the E category rowing through the halfway point right now. The lineup: Emily Erbelding from Baltimore, Catherine Barr McGill from Georgian Bay, Roseanne Kirchhoff from DWRA Detroit. From Narragansett, it's Alden Bumstead in lane 4, Kristen Miller from Minneapolis in lane 5, and Gina Tomaseski from Dallas in lane 6 in the women's open singles in the E category. And it is a bit of a battle right now with advantaged in lane 4. Lane 4, the boat from Narragansett, Alden Bumstead, in first right now. Second belongs to Catherine Barr McGill of Georgian Bay. She is right there in second, and these boats are really flying. In the meantime, Kristen Miller of Minneapolis and Gina Tomaseski of Dallas pursuing with Emily Erbelding of Baltimore. At 7:50, though, Alden Bumstead of Narragansett out with a little bit of open water, but what a battle for second and third shaping up with the remaining boats in this race. McGill of Georgian Bay on the move, trying to catch up with Miller of Minneapolis. Alden Bumstead of Narragansett out in the lead, open water, glancing over the shoulder, checking out where the finish line is. Meanwhile, Kristen Miller of Minneapolis pursuing now, moving ahead of Gina Tomaseski from Dallas. Tomaseski looking tight there, about 7:50. But as they come to the line, is Alden Bumstead in lane 4 from Narragansett. What a fight for second. Oh, too tight to call between DWRA Detroit and Minneapolis there at lanes 3 and 5. Very, very close together. U.S. Rowing 2019 Masters National Championships here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, on the Grand River at Riverside Park in downtown Grand Rapids. I'm Mark Purcell with the race calls here as we're watching the men's lightweight singles final in the E category, with Joel Griffith of River City out in front of the pack. The lineup is Rob Glidden from Long Beach in lane 1, OKC River Sports Anton Rupert in lane 2. The leader, Joel Griffith from River City in lane 3. Peter Pietra from Potomac in lane 4. Peter Kozic from Chinook in lane 5. Ben McIsaac from North Cascades in lane 6. At 7:50. As I said, it is River City's Joel Griffith. Second a battle right now between Potomac and Chinook in lanes 4 and 5. Advantage to Peter Kozic from Chinook right there at the moment. Then Ben McIsaac from North Cascades in 4th, with Rupert from OKC River Sport in 5th, and Glidden from Long Beach. As well, but out front, Joel Griffith from River City, really with a strong pull right now, trying to stay ahead of Chinook's Peter Kozic as they head towards the finish line. He's got about a boat length over there, but Chinook and the North Cascades boat were battling. Potomac, and Chinook were battling there quite considerably, but coming down to the line. The gold goes in the men's lightweight singles in the E category final to Joel Griffith of River City. Peter Kozic from Chinook is in second, then Peter Pietra from Potomac, followed by Ben McIsaac from the North Cascades. Anton Rupert's OKC River Sport, and then Rob Glidden from Long Beach, in that order in the men's lightweight singles E category. Thanks again to our presenting sponsor, Row America. At Row America, we're passionate about rowing. We're energized about growing and nurturing our sport from the bottom up. We've seen firsthand the positive transformation it's had on thousands of young individuals, and our goal is to amplify that impact. Row America, driven by a desire to support, promote, and expand the sport of rowing. Together we can grow the sport of rowing. Come join us at rowamerica.com to learn more. More finals here at the Masters National Championships. Up to the fours for the women's open fours in the C category. CRI in lane 1, Chinook B in lane 2, Chinook A in lane 3, Ann Arbor lane 4, Alexandria lane 5, Carnegie Lake in lane 6 here as they are racing down the course here on the Grand River. The field still relatively close to each other, but a big fight between Chinook, Ann Arbor, and the boat from Carnegie Lake right now. With Alexandria in that mix there, the 4 boats that are out in the front. Carnegie Lake with an advantage over Chinook right now. Ann Arbor in the mix with them. Alexandria trying to do too. Carnegie Lake beginning to feel the pressure though. And Chinook at 750 meters beginning to make a move with Ann Arbor right beside them. Then Carnegie Lake and Alexandria. The women's open fours, C category. 43 to 49-year-olds on the water, rowing for the gold right now as they are coming down towards the finish. Chinook still in the lead. Ann Arbor trying to chase them down. Carnegie Lake trying to stick with them, with Alexandria beginning to fall back slightly. Chinook with a big move just before 750. Now they have almost a boat length lead over that boat from Ann Arbor, with Carnegie Lake half a boat behind Ann Arbor right now and beginning to move forward as well. At the line though, Chinook A in lane 3 crosses first, Ann Arbor second, Carnegie Lake in third, Alexandria in fourth. It will be the Chinook B boat in fifth and CRI in sixth in the women's open fours C category. Same C category for the next race, the men's open singles. Lane 1 from Chinook, Sebastian Kazmierczak. Lane 2, Greg Kaplan from Vesper. Lane 3, Greater Columbus's Julio Sanchez. Lane 4, Doug Rourke from Georgian Bay. Lane 5, Mike Forgeron, unaffiliated from Canada. Alexander Stanovoy from Detroit in lane 6, rounding out the course. And right now it is lane 4, Doug Rourke from Georgian Bay, out in the lead by a boat length. A bit of a boat length over Vesper's Greg Kaplan and Alexander Stanovoy from Detroit, with Sebastian Kazmierczak from Chinook there too. Really pushing hard. Julio Sanchez from Greater Columbus, and at 750 there is a race shaping up, but it is Doug Rourke from Georgian Bay with the lead. Julio Sanchez from Greater Columbus beside him, with Alexander Stanovoy from Detroit and a fast-moving Greg Kaplan from Vesper. And they are really beginning a little bit of a bobble there from Alexander Stanovoy from Detroit. He recovers and continues to move forward, trying to stay with that front pack, and they have caught up with Doug Rourke from Georgian Bay. A fierce competition here in the men's open singles in the C category. Julio Sanchez from Greater Columbus really moving forward. Greg Kaplan from Vesper right there with him. They pass Doug Rourke from Georgian Bay. Here comes Alexander Stanovoy from Detroit. But coming down to the finish line, who's going to pull hardest? And it is Julio Sanchez from Greater Columbus, just ahead of Kaplan from Vesper. Then Stanovoy from Detroit. Doug Rourke from Georgian Bay falling back to fourth, with Mike Forgeron, the unaffiliated Canadian rower, will be in 5th, and Sebastian Kazmierczak from Chinook in 6th in the men's open singles final. Tight racing there right at the finish in that final for the men's open singles in the C category. As we watch the rower from Chinook cross the line, we'll take a break and be back with more finals here at the 2019 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championship. Welcome back to the Masters National Championships for 2019 here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm Mark Brazell with the Women's Open Double Final in the A category, the 27 to 35-year-olds, with the Kaplan and Mather from Vesper out in the lead just past the halfway point. The remaining boats in this race, DeLong and Thiessen from OKC Riversport, Heyerdahl and Garrett from Austin in lane 2, Smith and McKenna Monroe from North Bay in lane 3, Kaplan and Mather from Vesper in lane 4 in the lead right now. Alchevsky and Gesh Karamandlidis from Austin in lane 5, and Oram and O'Hara from Rocky Mountain in lane 6. And it is that Vesper boat in lane 4 out in the lead just ahead of the Austin boat in lane 5. Meanwhile, third is in lane 1, but there's a tight battle there in lanes 1, 2, and 3. OKC, Riversport, Austin, and North Bay. Crossing through 750, it is Vesper's Kaplan and Mather in the lead, but quite a battle for second shaping up right now. Between the other boat from Austin and the OKC Riversport boat. The other boat, Heyerdahl and Garrett from Austin, in the mix, as is North Bay Smith and McKenna Monroe. 4 boats across. OKC in second right now, but Vesper still in the lead. Kaplan and Mather about a boat length ahead. Looking very strong, stroking towards that finish line. Open water lead, but OKC Riversport on the charge. They are in second. Big push now from Heyerdahl and Garrett of Austin. They're trying to push past North Bay Smith and McKenna Monroe. And it will be Austin in third. The OKC in second, Austin's Heyerdahl and Garrett in third. But Kaplan and Mather from Vesper in first in the women's open doubles A category final. Then Oram and O'Hara from Rocky Mountain crossing the line for the women's open doubles A's. The men's turns next for the A category open doubles. Murdoch and Kilborn for Riverfront Recapture in lane 1. Nifton and Borchelt from Texas Center in lane 2. Ryan and Rhodes from Undine in lane 3. Sanchez and Matisse from Texas Center in lane 4. Sanf and Santala from San Diego in lane 5. And Webkin and Pack from Cincinnati in lane 6. And it is that lane 6 Cincinnati boat that is in the lead just past 600 meters in, followed by San Diego's Sanf and Santala. Then Sanchez and oh no, let's see, that's Ryan and Rhodes from Undine and Nifton and Borchelt from Texas Center. They're trying to battle for third, but the Undine boat on the move right now, catching up with that boat from San Diego at the 750-meter mark. Cincinnati still in the lead. San Diego still in second, but being threatened by the Undine boat of Ryan and Rhodes in lane 3. In the meantime, the other Texas Center boat, Nifton and Borchelt in lane 2, moving up with Ryan and Rhodes from Undine as they head towards the finish line. Sanchez and Matisse from Texas Center, being trailed by the Riverfront recapture boat of Murdoch and Kilbourne. But the battle for the silver underway as Cincinnati continues to lead, glancing to their right since they're in lane 6, glancing to their right to check on the competition. But here in the A category for the men's open doubles, Cincinnati crossing the line first, close behind them, that boat from San Diego, Sanf. Now the race for third, and it's Texas Center's Nifton Borshelt just easing out Undine's Ryan and Rhodes just by about 2 feet at the end for the men's open doubles A category final. Then Riverfront recapture and the other Texas Center boat crossed the line. Again, we're inviting all octogenarian rowers to join us tomorrow at 1 o'clock at the award stage for a celebration of your dedication and tenure in our sport. I'd like to capture this occasion by having you all come together for a joint photograph tomorrow at 1 at the awards stage. 4 finals left on this Finals Friday. 3 of the 4 fours without, beginning and all in the men's open fours without or straight fours category. We'll begin with the E category. Texas Center in lane 1, Riverfront recapture in lane 2, Merry Meeting Composite B in lane 3, New Haven in lane 4, and Chinook B in lane 5. In the Coxless fours as they pass through the halfway point, it is the Chinook B boat out in front barely over New Haven. But the Riverfront recapture and Merry Meeting Composite boats right there with them. The Merry Meeting Community Rowing Association rowing on the Charles River out of Brunswick, Maine. They have 7 boats in this competition. A couple of composites. This B composite here in lane 3 right now. Was in third, but it looks like Riverfront recapture has come by them. Chinook B in the lead, but a little bit of splash coming up, maybe slowing them down a little bit and allowing the New Haven boat to make up a little bit of water. New Haven inching up at the 750 mark on that Chinook boat. In the meantime, Riverfront recapture on the move too. Merry Meeting Composite trying to go with them, but it's still Chinook in the lead, but the boat's getting closer and closer together. Really, the New Haven boat on the move and inching up on Chinook as they race towards the finish line. That Riverfront recapture boat moving fast as well as the Merry Meeting Composite boat. Chinook still in the lead, but they'll have to maintain that technique as they come to the finish line to fend off the competition. Here at the 2019 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships, the men's open fours, straight fours. Chinook holds on for the gold. New Haven, silver. The bronze goes to Riverfront recapture just ahead of Merry Meeting Composite. Then Texas Center crosses the line. 2 more straight fours finals, the F category next and then the D category before we have the mixed eights in the B category. So we'll go back and join the open straight fours for the men in the F category underway right now with that red, white, and blue of Texas Center crossing the line in the D or E category we just saw. Now it's to the F category. Detroit Composite in lane 1, Merry Meeting Composite lane 2, Catawba lane 3, Palm Beach Composite lane 4, Chinook in lane 5, and Winnipeg in lane 6. The F category for the straight fours. Straight fours in the F category. The men's open straight fours with Mary Meeting Composite out in the lead, but a crowd beside them. Palm Beach, Chinook, Winnipeg, Catawba, all right there with them, but Mary Meeting Composite out by about 3/4 of a boat length as we look at our little drone friends look at the race at the 750-meter mark. Mary Meeting Composite really moving forward with Catawba, Palm Beach, Chinook, and Winnipeg all side by side in lanes 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's Catawba with a slight advantage over the remainder of that field, but Chinook right there with them. And then Palm Beach Composite in between, and Winnipeg they're beginning to lose a little bit of ground as Mary Meeting Composite continues to lead, and Catawba beginning to catch them up. A little bit of a steering issue. They begin to correct their direction. Mary Meeting Composite still in the lead with Catawba in second. Then a battle between Palm Beach and Chinook. Winnipeg now slipping, but coming down to the line for the gold medal in the men's open fours without. It is the Mary Meeting Composite in lane 2. Catawba getting the silver in lane 3. Palm Beach for the bronze in 4. Then Chinook, Winnipeg, and the Detroit Composite in that order. Great finals racing here at the Masters National Championships as we take a break and see some messages from a couple of our sponsors.
With over 15 years of experience in the launch business, Royal America delivers competitive pricing, durability, stability, and comfort in every launch they make. With tons of customizable options, it's no wonder that our launches are used by the best coaches in the world to coach the best rowers in the world. With boats in stock ready to ship, reach out to your local sales representative for a quote today.
The men's open 4 without. No coxswain on these boats as they race down in the D category. Lineup is Austin in lane 1, Riverfront Recapture in lane 2, Rocky Mountain lane 3, Texas Center lane 4, San Diego in lane 5. And it looks like lane threes in the lead right now. It's Rocky Mountain out by about a boat length as we go racing down the way. Oh, a big crab, a little bit of perhaps contact between San Diego and the Texas Center on the outside lanes. As we see from the drone, there's 2 boats in 1 lane and a little bit of an issue happening right there. Out in front is still that Rocky Mountain, but Texas Center and San Diego tangling along the way there. Riverfront Recapture and Austin in lanes 1 and 2 still rowing forward. Riverfront Recapture able to take second after that tangle with Texas Center and San Diego. Austin trying to move into third. Texas Center and San Diego trying to recover. Texas Center trying to chase down San Diego now. Out in front, though, it's Rocky Mountain in the lead by about 2 boat lengths of open water here in the D category of the Coxless fours. No doubt a bit of a challenge will happen in this race. We'll see what the U.S. rowing referees and how they determine what happened there. But crossing the line for the gold, Rocky Mountain in the men's open fours without, winning the gold in the D category. Here comes Riverfront Recapture in second. Texas Center recovering from that clash with San Diego crosses in third. San Diego will be in fourth, and then Austin in fifth in the men's open fours without D final. Another quick commercial break in the ultimate end and finale of the day with the mixed eights in the B category after this message. I need sideline. The final race of the day, the mixed eights in the B category. We have Chinook in lane 1, Greenwich lane 2, Western Reserve in lane 3, Everett Association in lane 4, the Western Reserve B boat in lane 5, and Lake Lure Racing in lane 6. The big eights, the mixed eights here, even mix of men and women from these clubs in the B category, the 36 to 42 age group, and they are at the halfway point with the boats still mostly together as they come down the line. The blue of Chinook out in front. The green of Lake Lure Racing right there in the mix right now along the shoreline. It's Everett Association out in front right now. Lake Lure in second. Then the two Western Reserve boats are battling with Greenwich and Chinook right behind them. 750 meters in, Everett Association about a boat length over the second place boat from Lake Lure. The Western Reserve boat in lane 3 sneaking up on Lake Lure at 750. They are walking up right now, seat at a time with each stroke. Lake Lure trying to cling to second, but Western Reserve in lane 3 catching up with them. And meantime, the Western Reserve B boat right behind that Lake Lure boat. Then it's over to Chinook and back to Greenwich in the lineup for the mixed eights in the B category. Coming down to the line, Everett Association plowing hard, trying to stay ahead of both the advancing boat from Western Reserve and the Lake Lure Racing boat in lane 6. Everett Association with a big move and a lead at 750, and they come to the line for the gold in the mixed eights B category. Western Reserve moving forward. They have taken over second place from that boat from Lake Lure. But Lake Lure will hold on for third at the finish, with the other Western Reserve boat now battling for fourth place with Chinook. Not sure how they ended there. And then Greenwich crosses the line. Great racing on final Friday here at the 2019 U.S. Rowing Masters National Championships. The last race of the day there. I'm Mark Purcell for Rob Shea, wishing you a good day and reminding you to tune in tomorrow when the finals begin for live streaming of the Masters National Championships from Grand Rapids, Michigan, here on the U.S. Rowing YouTube channel.
With over 15 years of experience in the launch business, Row America delivers competitive pricing, durability, stability, and comfort in every launch they make. With tons of customizable options, it's no wonder that our launches are used by the best coaches in the world to coach the best rowers in the world. With boats in stock ready to ship, reach out to your local sales representative for a quote today.
Sarasota, beaches and beyond. Sarasota, beaches and beyond.